No, hands-on.
You can't take long time because internet
No,
means
I
you
mean,
can
is
go
that
to Google.
hands-on? Is that
Hands on. That fellow will watch the answer.
okay?
Okay, like for
Okay,
example,
so
if they
okay,
say, he will say, then only you should go to the next question. He will say, okay, I am satisfied. Please continue. Like that, he will say.
okay.
So here, let me get all the questions in one go. And there, it was actually in six different sections. After every section, he will also stop and ask some. Just a minute. Let me add add participants. Rakesh. Ra- You are already added. He's already added, but I think he closed the window. That's what he's saying. You can click on join. Click on join.
He got disconnected basically.
Yeah, yeah. Rakesh, click join. Okay. Sidhu is another chap from India. He's interested in getting this one. Currently, he is working as a data analyst. Yes. Okay. So how do we add him? There's a join button, right?
You can
Join.
join. Just I think you can
Yeah,
join, right?
just click on join button. Click join. Just a minute.
Maybe you can call again. I think from the that window, but you can just click on join. Hyper server.
Okay, all right. Hello. Yeah. So let's go through them quickly. You can give me find your router. How will you do it? Anybody wants to answer?
IPA.
Close, but let us see what IPA will do. IPA show will give all the addresses. This one. Remember IPR show? I told right. IP route show.
Okay,
Okay.
router.
Show. Okay. So and then where will be the router? It is the
Yeah,
this line.
IPR you can do.
Because why this one is the thing. I also pinged it just to verify that it is up. You don't have to, but I did it for my satisfaction that like I'm testing minus C. I pinged once. Okay, so that is there. Next is find out the mail servers of dwp.gov.uk. For this, I didn't know the answer directly, but I know I have to use a tool called dig because
Share the screen, Arvind.
share my screen. Okay, hang on. Right. So share screen. Yeah. Okay. Find out the mail servers of dwp.gov.uk. So how do we find the mail servers of the dwp.uk? So it is dwp. I know that you have to do dig, but dig will give this one. Okay. I went to internet and found that it is MX. If you type, you will get the mail server. Okay. So these are the two mail servers that they are having. They look to be same actually, but yeah, this is a mail exchange. This thing because mail servers are also part of the DNS entry. If they were asking namespaces, name servers, then you should just say NS. So that will give you the name servers of this one. I think that was
But
another question. Like
yeah,
what are all the
probably they
name
need a
servers?
platform engineer. Probably I think for this role, looks like, isn't it?
See, I'm really confused. What is platform engineer? What is DevOps engineer? What is
No, the
this in the
DevOps engineer is basically Jenkins and pipelines who wrote. They comes under the DevOps. Okay, the platform engineer who does the Linux and installations and all those things, they comes under the platform.
But
And
pipeline developers themselves are writing nowadays,
no,
right?
they are DevOps, right? But in our company, in the most of the companies, they split, big companies, they split like that. DevOps means it's basically it's managing everything, the pipelines and all that stuff, installations and
Yeah,
all
that
those
might be
things.
right because I was submitted to Smart
Main
Pensions.
Linux and these skills is required when you are doing the platform and patching whoever they
Ah,
does the
uh,
patching stuff.
but
Yeah.
that's what like main even in Smart Pensions, they applied me for both roles. They call it as what is it? Platform infrastructure group, and then there is SRE, Site Reliability Engineering.
Yeah, site reliable platform. I think they comes under the I think the same. I think one umbrella. I think. Yeah.
No, but
Infrastructure engineers and
they are saying it is separate.
is it?
That's what like everybody is having. See, my area of, I mean, originally what DevOps was intended is developer would do everything, but that is not happening confirmed. Okay. Now, the way my brother's company is doing is cloud engineering division and DevOps engineering and DevOps engineering. What the way you are saying, like they are doing the way you are saying. Cloud engineering is like, but
Yeah, but
who writes?
everyone does it because even we are the cost optimization team, but still we does the we have to create a pipelines as well. We have to make the change, eh, but we won't do the main applications. We won't do the DevOps thing like for that. So only for platform side like infrastructure stuff we do pipelines.
Like for us, it is all of these jobs we have, right, Venkat? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When nowadays, even for writing infrastructure code, you have to build your own pipeline, right? Basically, because even Terraform code in our company, in another company, is behind a pipeline. So like that distinction is okay. Anyway, was given find out the mail servers and the name servers they asked. Okay, and
Okay.
name servers. And I think six sections there were there totally. So I'm trying to see. Incote and they have given a shell script and I ran it. It failed.
Okay.
Why it failed is because they are trying to do a T to a file. Like for example, they simple. I'll tell which line failed. Uh, okay, so which line failed? They gave which line failed. That is basically what are they saying is was given a shell script and to run it will fix the error. Okay. So in shell script one, so the line field is echo hello world because they were using that same file to okay, so it will be like T. They put it as T hello.html. Okay, they said T hello.html. No, but T minus that will be like okay cat hello.html. This will work. Okay, so if I just do T um, like something like home directory. So what some directory is there underneath it. If I say T slash directory slash this thing, right?
So how many lines of the code it was there in the search shell script?
Like this, the error message came, and
Oh,
that
okay.
shell script was breaking. So you can do it anyway to make that script work. You can manually go and create the directory. But what I did was I fixed the shell script itself. Okay, so I just put it as like this thing. In fact, there was a variable declared for the directory. I didn't have to. There was a variable declared for the directory. I just did minus D directory or create if there is a directory. If there is no directory, then come and do something, right? So mkdir minus p dot slash directory. Okay, so this worked. Second time it won't work because
It's
you have
already
already
is
created
there.
a directory. Yeah, that is our option. So I just fixed the shell script. Why that became important, and then again you have to run the shell script again and make it pass, because that script is important, because there is another question that is related to this thing. Next, what they're saying, check out the Git repo and ask to look out for a commit by a developer, but we'll do that later. Now, this was very interesting. Find out all domains supported by certificate from bbc.co.uk. I didn't know the answer to that one, but I know how to look at the certificate. So we have already shown, right? So I went here, bbc.co.uk. Okay. And here, if you look at the certificates, right, it will say this particular thing. Yeah. And then we have this. And here there is something called as subject public. Yeah, I just kept on looking at all the fields because I know that it will be somewhere here, right? So this is there, find value, issuer, validity, not before, not after, this thing, subjects, public key, key usage, key certificate profiles means this one, constraints, subject alternative names, subject alternative names. See, these are all the domains that are supported by the certificates. I did it like this. He said, okay, but because I finished the exams, he asked me to do it with OpenSL, which will go. I just copied it from website somewhere. Okay, then was given a shell, find out, was given a Docker file. Okay, then they gave me a Docker file and asked me to launch a container. And
Okay.
what happened is just the Docker file is there, nothing else. And the Docker file actually mounted this particular directory. So
So,
basically,
so,
uh,
so he basically is trying to find out which commands we can use that kind of thing basically
and
from
also
that.
speed. Speed you should be able
Okay,
to do
speed.
it.
Okay.
So first he said launch a container. So we need to know that first the image needs to be built, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So first let us just take one example Docker file because right now I don't have the Docker file they gave it. Uh, example Docker file. Okay, so we will just do no, just let us example Docker file nginx. So just for this thing, how to use official this one they did, right? Docker stop. Yeah, like this it is there. Okay, because that the file that I created, right? They made that into that was important. So if we don't do that, then we will not be able to complete this exercise because that file won't be created, right? Okay. So that's how they did. So in our case, it will be the same file that they have created, ls dot slash directory hello dot html. So here, if you look at it here, that's what they asked us to copy, right? Basically. So that is there. So how what I did is I simply built the image, Docker image build minus t my nginx colon. Yeah, don't give any latest because I just wanted to keep it simple. Okay, and then we got it, and then they asked you to launch in any port. So run I did. Then I forgot the options, so I just did minus minus L because the port always I get confused. So minus P. Publisher containers ports to the host port. And usually Docker container run um, minus IT my nginx, and then simple, right? They just wanted to see if you know what port bounding is. So 8087 colon 80. Okay. And they also asked it to run as background job, run as a background job. So we shouldn't be doing it as this. We just run it as a background job. Then, sorry, there is also another question that they asked. Display the logs of the container. Display the container logs. They asked display the container logs. So that is I just did Docker container ls, okay, and then display this thing Docker logs 8b. Think this will give it. Okay, so that is simply equal to this thing. Yeah, so that is how I displayed the logs. Then they asked print the environment variables. Find out the git repo name. Find out the environment variables in the container. Just find out environment variables in the container. Okay, in the container. Okay, so what is happening is Docker um, exec minus IT. No, and then I just simply said env, right? So we got the environment variables here. So he said, okay, yeah, that's fine. So these are all the environment variables that are of the container. Then, okay, that is all about Docker. Then what did he do? When in that window, when we click on that container, he asked me to verify if it is there. So I just did localhost colon. So that is simply equal to Docker container ls. Then there is curl localhost colon 8087. Hello world. Okay, so I just verified that it worked and then printed the environment variables. Then there was another question. Now I know. Okay, find out all the servers listening on all ports. Find out the services. Find out all services listening on all ports. So what? How did we do that? Find out means I simply use netstat minus tulpen. This is better. Okay, tulpen. Okay, and then I just grabbed on all ports means it will be usually 0.0.0.0. So these are all the services that are listening on all ports. Okay, so that is there. And for the DNS server, there was this DNS server like this, right? So, okay, on my machine also there is a DNS server. Then they said, what is the DNS server and where it is pointing to? I told them that it is pointing here. This is the DNS server. But then I said like, are you sure? Then he said, are you sure? Okay, then I said, okay, I will look at the etcresolve.conf. Okay, etcresolve.conf, like this I did. I said like, these are all the name servers. Then he said, okay, what is this pointing to? That's what he said. I mean, this is a name server. I am correct, but where is this pointing to? He said. Then I said like, okay, I don't know. But then what I did was, okay, he said he will give me a hint. He said like, go back to the previous command. So then I went back to previous command. And if you look at the grep 53, right, it should actually give me the name of the process. like this. It should give me the name of the process. In its case, it gave me it as systemd rsyslogd. So then I said systemd rsyslogd config file. I went and searched systemd. See that search is still there stored. So I just went and the location
So
of this
it's
particular
allowed to
thing.
do Google it,
He,
right?
he allowed to do this thing. So
Okay.
I just okay immediately there I said that okay it is there here systemd resolved. So I went and searched for it here. The answer was what is the reverse lookup he wanted basically resolved.conf. So in my case there is no entry, but in that case there was an entry for 8.8.8. And then he said like the question actually now is find out all the services listening, find out the listener, the local unbound DNS server, find out from configuration file actual domain name, find out from config name actual server. Okay, so here systemd resolved. Once we looked at the systemd resolved, uh, then then I just did a dig minus x. It was there. The entry was there. Okay, 8.8. Okay, so here he said like this is. I said this one. I said like yeah. He said okay. But he also said, see, do you know that there is a top level domain name? Like we always know .com, .gov or this thing. There is a top level domain called Google. Then I said like, yeah, I never noticed it. This is there. Okay. I said probably because they are providing this because nobody can give the top level domain. Like Google can't do it. It is by some authority, internet authority. Top level domains you can't create. You can create subdomains like .com means something like Amazon.com, but you can't go and create .com domain, the highest level ones. They said like dns.google and then they said like okay that is fine, see it's a top level domain is there. I said like okay I'm surprised by this particular thing. Okay, and then what else is there? Okay, well, then actually find out then he asked whom are you logged in. That is a basic question, right? That's a basic Unix. Who am I? Like that I did. Then and find out the domain name of the DNS server. ఇంకా కొన్ని I think there were some more, but this is actually this particular thing. And there were some questions on logs, I think. Like there was one or two questions on log. Totally, there were 6 sections. Each section had about 3 to 4 questions. So 3 into 6, 18 questions were there. And then they were completed in 45 minutes. Then everything was done. So he said like, you went to the Google to do it. Can you do it with a command line? I said like I don't know that much of OpenSSL. Can I do a Google? He said sure. Okay. So then I said like OpenSSL fetch certc. It is there OpenSSL fetch certificate. Using OpenSSL to get certificate from this particular thing, fetching a certificate. I just went here. I just normally copied whatever the like this is. So I just did this, begin certificate and connect as client, show certs to get the complete certificate chain. This is what I did basically. I went there. Only thing is, I said I don't remember all this thing, OpenSSL, and then he said like bbc.co.uk:443. So we have the entire certificate chain, right? So this is there. Okay, then I said like, okay, and yeah. So basically this is the certificate chain. And then there was still some time, right? So what happened is the Docker container that got launched, what happened is he said click on that. And then when I click on it, it came back with some number like this. Okay, and it was working. I said like 206777 and then dot colon 80, no, dot 80, and then there was that index file, right? Then he said, can you guess how it is working? Then I said, like, this looks like a DNS entry. It's a CNM entry, and it is going to a load balancer. That's what I told. Then even I got suddenly, okay, but how does it know I could have launched it in a different port? Then he said, yes, that's right. That's what this particular thing was a instance ID, and this is particular thing is a port number. So a reverse proxy is actually going to extract this information and redirect you to the correct instance. Oh, I said it's very smart. That's it. And then I asked, and then he said, like, what questions do you want to ask? No, I said, like, what are you guys doing, or what is this thing? Are you guys using Kubernetes? He said no, because DWP Universal Credit, this department. So anybody who goes into that department will be there for a long time because it's credit, right? Benefits, universal credit will be there at least for next 5 years. Nobody, no politician will come and remove universal credit, no? Okay. Um, then I asked them, what are you guys doing, basically? Then he said, like, okay, we are not using Kubernetes because it's a security risk at that time. 5 years back, they built this system, it seems, this entire platform. Then I told them, right? Then I told them, uh, then I told them that, okay. Then they said, like, they don't use Kubernetes, they use Linkerd to connect the Docker containers manually. But now for faster development, they have moved to Rancher
Okay.
in this particular thing. Okay. I said, fine. And then I said, EKS they'll 100% not use because it is this particular thing. I said, okay. I said, that's fine. Rancho. So that's why I was actually practicing Kubernetes. But let us first, like, see, if you look at, now I'm looking at the Kubernetes. The entire Kubernetes is the basics only. See, there is a core DNS, which is a component in Kubernetes. If you know how the DNS service works, while I'm not saying that you don't have to learn Kubernetes if you know basics, you will not understand Kubernetes if you don't understand initial networking. What do you mean by when somebody says networking? What exactly do we need to understand? First, we need to understand the concepts of subnet. Okay, and then we need to understand the concepts of CIDR. Okay, how to split a subnet into more subnets, how to split a network into more subnets, that we need to understand. Then we need to understand what is natting concept, because we are not implementing a router by in the cloud, they do it for us, but it's very important to understand the concept of routing. Why? Because in VPC, internet gateway, why we are doing internet gateway, why we are doing NAT gateway, means because also for practical networking, that those are the things, and the VPN connections. But that VPN is advanced, but this is the core foundation of networking. Means we need to know, understand how the subnet works. Okay, we need to understand how we need to understand the commands that are associated. For example, there is this command, like, to find out all the network traffic. Okay, ARP is used. I mean, at the very lowest level, ARP is used. That is when the packets are this thing, right? So ARP. See, with ARP command, I will actually know what the address is. Okay, so there is an interface called Docker 0, and it is actually called as this particular thing, and there is a hardware address. So, and then once you understand the concepts, then we know what the commands are. For example, once we know that on computer, when I started networking, I thought like computer communicates by itself. I didn't know that, there was a network card that is more important than actually a computer, this thing. So IPL show, then there is IPA show. Okay. So these are all the network interfaces. Okay. If you look at it, IPL link, all the network interfaces, we can display them by IP link. Okay. So IP link, and then we will be able to see this particular thing. That is a loopback interface. There is a ELP interface. There is a WLP interface, and then there is BR interfaces, VBox nets. So this is simply equal to this thing. So these are all, and then we need to know how the route, what exactly routing. So to recap, how does the routing work? Basically, treat your network as like, suppose in there are 10 computers, 10 things, okay, 10 computers. Uh, each one will be given a private IP address, and you need minimum of one router so that it can communicate back to the outside world. A router must connect more than one network. That is why it is called a router. Why is it called router? It will connect, it will route the traffic from one network to another network. That means a router will have minimum two network cards. One network card will be on one this thing, it will be there. But in reality, they will have more than two. But at least it will have two network cards so that it will sit on one network and then it will sit on the another network. That is what we need to know for the networking. First, basic, the foundation, and then we need to know a little bit at a higher level. Then comes the VPN. Now, the whole of this entire advanced networking in AWS is all to make your life as a VPN easier. Whether it is VPC peering. VPC peering means they are connecting two networks through a peering connection. Okay, instead of a router, but peering connection is like a router, because once you create the peering connection, you still have to go and modify the route table so that the traffic goes from one network to another. Okay, so that is why if we understand what is happening normally, then the advanced networking becomes easy. Easy in the sense, we will know what is happening. Otherwise, everything we don't know what we are doing, right? So that is why there will be a problem. We'll take that networking class again. Revision for those who are seniors like Venkat and Abhijit. They've already gone through this. We'll again go. This time we will go from basics. But today we will do a revision of this rapid RHSCA. Okay. For a long time, we didn't practice this one. Analyzing and storing logs. There is a, see, the log analysis, and this one has become a very big business, like Datadog. What is its stock? Has anybody used Datadog? Prometheus, Grafana, Venkat, you have used that? No, right?
And we are using
In my
log slash stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I want the Prometheus and Grafana to work. I will show.
we are using Prometheus and Grafana in our application.
You are using Prometheus and Grafana, or are you using Datadog?
Prometheus and Grafana.
Prometheus and Grafana, right? Okay. I have also done Prometheus and Grafana on my system finally, because I was preparing. I am not a, to be honest, like, my knowledge of Kubernetes is only in this job. And previously it was book experience. Okay. So let me just log into this one. I just wanted to, it's very simple, because even I was like very, this thing. First, let me give a, let me just see if the Kubernetes is there. Okay, Jenkins is there. Okay, so let me shut them down. Jenkins will shut them down now. Instance state of instance, right? Yeah. So there is a Kubernetes. Okay, Kubernetes I have stopped. Wait. Okay, this is EKS. EKS cluster is there.
Yes.
That's right. EKS. I have deployed it on the EKS cluster because what is happening is if we install Kubernetes natively, the load balancer thing will not work. Okay, so there is a Kubernetes cluster here, and there are 3 nodes. Okay, so here if I look at the 3 nodes, right? So kubectl get nodes. So there are, okay, one of them it says is not ready. I don't know why. Okay, so this is in a ready state. Now what I did was I have made a notes of Prometheus and Grafana is better because it is cheaper. But Datadog is very good. Datadog is like,
Graphical
but
presentation
Datadog
we
is
can.
like, Datadog is like a service. I mean, I'll tell how the Datadog works. Okay, Jenkins file, Prasad question prod, cluster.
Can we have graphical
Yeah,
visualization on
that's
the
it.
use?
I have done the graphical. I have done the graphical only. Grafana, I have already done it.
Yeah,
I just
Grafana is
need to.
basically it's a graphical tool. Yeah.
No, what happens is fundamentally you
We
need to
can
know 3 things. First of all,
Grafana.
Grafana will plug into Prometheus.
Yeah,
Okay.
Prometheus. Yeah.
Prometheus can't work by itself. First, you need to install what is called as metrics server. Okay, that is Kubernetes metrics server. We should be able to do it. Okay, so if
No,
I
you
look
don't
at
need
my
it.
graph
Actually, I tried it in the Kubernetes with without that it worked.
without
Matrix
if
server.
you metric server లేని metrics collect cow, you will not
ఓకే.
have the
మ్యాట్రిక్స్ ఓన్లీ
information.
కలెక్ట్ అంటే జనరల్‌గా అంటే పార్ట్స్ లాగ్స్ కలెక్ట్ చేసి అది మన గ్రాఫానాలో ఇది అంతవరకే
For,
చేశాను.
exactly. The usual way is first the metric server will collect all the logs and everything. Okay. And it will go and put it into the Prometheus. But let me just look at the demo POC. Okay, Kubernetes via Prometheus. Okay. So this is my Grafana dashboard. And then it says, right, see, it gives me some graphics. I need to still do some more Grafana. It will give you all the things. Pod memory usage, it will give. Pod network IO, it will give. Total usage, okay. Pod CPU usage. So here, if you look at it, it will give you pod CPU usage. That is how it is going. And then you can do system services. The on this thing, container CPU usage is simply equal to this thing. Why people prefer Prometheus and Grafana is it's free. Datadog is giving more services to it. But for Datadog, you need to register an account in them, in their things. Okay. And then they will do an assume role. So basically, you will have to give them a role delegation. You will have to configure the Datadog because Datadog, how it works is they have their own AWS account. And from their AWS account, they will assume role into our AWS account, and we have to give read access to all our CloudWatch logs. Okay. Now that is for all services. It can monitor all services independently. Okay. So once you configure this one, right, you will see all AWS services, complete service. I didn't try it because it's only 15-day. This one I'll do it next week. I'll show it. So here, but for Kubernetes cluster, you have to install their agent, which is nothing but a pod. Okay, which is simply nothing but a pod. So here, in my case, this is there, but Prometheus also I have done. But with the problem with Prometheus is it doesn't give all these nice charts like this. Okay, it doesn't give all this nice chart. Container CPU usage. If you look at it, it is going like this. All process CPU usage, it will go like this. See all the things. It is all these metrics came from metric server, but localhost Prometheus. Just let me. History pipe grep forward. Okay, cube city. Yeah. So here we have this thing. Okay. So that is simply equal to localhost colon 9090. Okay, there is nothing here. So here we have kubectl minus minus namespace Prometheus port forward 9090. So we can just do it here like this thing. Okay, I didn't know that you can forward the entire traffic from that Kubernetes cluster onto your local port. I didn't know that. So the entire namespace of Prometheus forward is being here, right? So now it will just work here. It will work or no? It should work. Or we can just do this. It's not resolving. Yeah. So it is, you can't just do like that. So here we can search for anything, any pod like this one, Kubernetes pod container info, Kubernetes pod annotations, status running. Yeah, but see, it will be like this. Okay. So all these metrics are then fed into Grafana, which will actually then give you the more this thing. But I don't know how to configure Grafana dashboard. I'll have to learn that. But it's, you don't have to do much. All that you have to know is find the correct dashboard, it seems. See, the nodes
There
we
are
can find.
some lots of template dashboards which we can use.
Templates are there. Only thing is we need to go and go to
Find the
the
right one. Yeah.
find the right one. So for example, if you have to go Grafana dashboards, yeah, Grafana dashboards code.
Yeah.
Grafana.
Creating our own is it's a little bit
No,
complex. Yeah.
no need to. I don't think anybody. I mean, that requires JavaScript and Kubernetes kubelet, okay, AWS billing, AWS application, whichever ratings are more, like 3.4 million downloads, means it is good. Okay, like this EKS. So for example, we can do EKS here. Okay, so that is simply equal to this thing. Okay, get it Grafana Labs. All right. So get started with the Grafana Cloud, HA proxy. Okay, so basically we have this dashboard. So we have simply have to get this copy ID to the dashboard here. And here we just go to dashboard, discard. Okay, so how do, somewhere we have to add here. Okay, I'll have to add a new panel or new dashboard. Okay, this is the dashboard that I installed. So how create add a new panel. Okay, and then Prometheus that is there, right? Somewhere we'll have to add this thing here, right? Metrics browser. Somewhere something that needs to happen, and then we can get into it. But finally, nowadays this is being asked a lot. Prometheus, Grafana, have you configured? It's quite simple. It's not that difficult actually. Okay, so that's it. Anyway, I just wanted to show this. We'll do it next time. And also, I just created this because I wanted to give. Yesterday, I had 3 interviews. One was with final interview with DWP. That was not much of an interview. It was much more like trying to find the capabilities. Okay, it is basically this thing, status unknown. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll first delete this cluster because it's costing money. Okay. Configuration, compute. Oh no, I'm practicing Kubernetes. Can we shut down this cluster? No, right? We can't. Huh? సరేలే మళ్ళీ క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు కదా క్రియేట్. There is nothing like shutting down. We can only take away the node groups, I think. We can't like, yeah, but I'll practice. Now I can install EKS in 10 or 15 minutes. Why? Because now I have done the basics of Kubernetes well. That is what the problem with the cloud is. People don't do the basics. They directly come to, like me, they directly come to AWS unnecessarily 6 months. Waste means like they're not very productive work. Okay, that's what the problem is they don't understand the things and they don't. See, nothing new has come. In my view, nothing has changed fundamentally how people have done it. Okay, there is more money because the skill is new. But those who have worked in data center can easily come, provided they learn Terraform and Python. That's the only thing. Previously, everything used to be like manual jobs, like manual commands. Nowadays, all automated using from some automation tool. Okay, whether it is Terraform or whether it is Ansible or whether it is Puppet. It seems Home Office is using Puppet and Ansible. I said like nobody is using Puppet in are there any jobs on Puppet actually? They are small gone. Ansible kuda ఈ
Yeah,
కంటైనర్స్
there
వచ్చేసి
are. I think there are. Yeah.
Ansible కూడా కంటైనర్స్ వచ్చి ఇప్పుడు డిమాండ్ తక్కువైంది బట్ Ansible is still there because AMIs కి they are still
Yeah,
using
because of Kubernetes and Docker, ECS. So you no need that Ansible.
importance is not there. But it is still there because even some machines will always be there, right? Physical machines. I mean, not everybody runs everything on containers, right? Run the IPKs, Puppet, continuous integration deployment, JFrog Artifactory, PromQL, Anthosu, Site Reliability Engineer inside. DevOps Engineer, 12 months, minimum 2 days. Should be eligible to apply for check, SC check. ఎంత ఇస్తానంట వీడు ఓకే రెల్ ఇది విందే ఇది స్మార్ట్ పెన్షన్స్ ఇది పెన్షన్ దే ఇది ఎక్కడ అన్నాడు యూనివర్సల్ క్రెడిట్ సి
Platform for universal credit. Okay, universal credit అంటే HMRC నే కదా?
నో డిడబ్ల్యూపి
Oh, DWP. Okay. DWP, why they are doing okay?
డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్ అండ్ పెన్షన్
Oh, they are doing the universal all these things. Okay, because we are in the Scottish government, we also do all these things. But in the Scottish government, I think we don't have universal credit. We have other kind of benefits systems.
They are saying Docker, Podman, Ansible, Nomad, Trifilk. They have again advertised. See, 12 months. I think there are multiple job openings.
Yes. Yeah.
వీడి ఇక్కడ ఏమంటున్నాడు సెక్యూరిటీ క్లియర్డ్ అదేంటంటే ఒకసారి పోవడం కూడా బెటర్ ఏమో ఎందుకంటే ఒకసారి సెక్యూరిటీ క్లియరెన్స్
But security clearance excellent. I think if you go once there, you have lots of security clearance jobs.
నో వాళ్ళే అప్లై చేస్తారు కదా అది సెక్యూరిటీ
వాళ్ళే అప్లై చేస్తారు ఒకసారి వచ్చిందంటే సెక్యూరిటీ క్లియరెన్స్ నెక్స్ట్ జాబ్ ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఈజీ.
ఈజీ రైట్ అది ఎన్ని రోజులు వ్యాలిడ్ 5 years
5 years yeah.
ఓకే applicant universal credit DevOps engineer remote and familiarity with Linux kit rocket in the kit Market. Okay. So Linux inside. Nowadays, I have seen a lot of outside roles. I am only interested in outside roles. Ansible, Puppet, Chef. The other job I thought was with Capgemini. Like I said, Capgemini, I thought it was inside job, but it is 574 outside IR35 for
Capgemini.
HMRC.
Okay.
Borders and home office. నిన్న అయింది ఒక ఇంటర్వ్యూ. వాట్ డి హి ఆస్క్? హి ఆస్క్ లైక్ ఓకే అని నేను అన్న, వాడు ఏదో వాడి ప్రాజెక్ట్ గురించి చెప్తా ఉన్నాడు, ఇది అది చెప్పేస్తున్నాడు, అది చెప్తున్నాడు, అది చెప్తున్నాడు. 100 ఇంజనీర్స్ ఉన్నారు అంటే, నేను 100 ఇంజనీర్స్ ఎందుకు అన్నా అంటే, అంటే సరిగ్గానే
ఉన్నారు మా
చేసి
మా దాంట్లో కూడా 200 ఇంజనీర్స్ ఉన్నారు.
అవసరం ఏంటది అంటే, ఇప్పుడు సరిగ్గా ఉన్నదా బాబు మీ సిస్టమ్లు అన్ని, ఏమన్నా రచరచ చేస్తున్నారని అడిగిన నేను. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళు తెలుసు కదా విప్రోలు ఏం చేస్తారో పాల్తు పనులన్నీ.
లేదు మా దాంట్లో కూడా 200 ఇంజనీర్స్ ఉన్నారు.
ఏది ప్లాట్ఫామ్ డెవలపర్సా లేకపోతే
డెవలపర్స్?
ఈ హోమ్ ఆఫీస్ ఇది ఈ డిడబ్ల్యూపి ప్లాట్ఫామ్ మీద 3,000 మంది ఉన్నారంట డెవలపర్స్. అంటే
ఇక్కడ ఎలాగంటే ఈ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ లో ఎవరు పట్టించుకోరు నువ్వేం చేస్తున్నావు ఏంటి అనేది. నువ్వు స్లో చేసినా పట్టించుకోరు, ఫాస్ట్ చేసినా పట్టించుకోరు. ఫాస్ట్ అంటే మన కాంట్రాక్టర్ల దగ్గర కాంపిటీషన్ వచ్చి ఫాస్ట్ గా చేస్తాం తప్పితే, బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ యూనో గుడ్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ బిట్వీన్ ద కాంట్రాక్టర్స్ యూ కెన్ డూ హౌస్ లో, నో వన్ కేర్స్.
అట్లా కాదు కదా. ఐ మీన్ ఏదన్నా ఉండని పని అయితే చేయాలి కదా. వితౌట్ నాకు పిచ్చిలేస్తుంది నేను పని చేయకుండా ఉంటే. నేను అందుకే నేను ఫాస్ట్ గా నేను ఏం చేస్తానంటే,
నేను ఫస్ట్ 2 months లో దాదాపు 120 టికెట్స్ క్లోజ్ చేశాను. మళ్ళీ ఈ మధ్యలో దాదాపు 40 టికెట్స్ క్లోజ్ చేసాను. కాకపోతే ఇంకా కొన్ని అంటే అన్ని ఫాలో అప్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉన్నాయి. అంటే వాళ్ళ వేరే టీమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఆ టీమ్స్ నుంచి అప్రూవల్స్ తీసుకోవాలి, అకౌంట్ ఓనర్స్ నుంచి కొన్ని అంటే ఇది చేయడానికి.
చేయాలా 5+ years able to comprehend, nice to have blockchain. ఏంది ఇది?
బ్లాక్ చేయాలి.
Another in UK, I found that there are 4 major from scratch projects that are starting. One is with London Stock Exchange. Other is with Deutsche Bank, but they are going for GCP. London Stock Exchange. ఇంకోటి ఏంది, లండన్ స్టాక్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్. నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చేసి లండన్ స్టాక్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ ఒకటి ఉంది మనకి. లండన్ స్టాక్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ జేపీ మార్గన్ వాడు సాలాడు. జేపీ మార్గన్ వాడు 650 ఇన్సైడ్ అంటే ఏమరా నాకు పిచ్చి లేసిపోయింది. ఏమరా బిచ్చం వేస్తున్నావు, నాకు కోపం వచ్చింది వాని మీద. ఇంత పైసలు ఉన్నాయి మీ బ్యాంక్ దగ్గర? సరే ఎంత కావాలంటే, నాన్న మినిమం 750 లేదు అసలు వేస్ట్ అని చెప్పిన. సరేలే అనేసి 750 చేస్తా అన్నాడు వాడు. ఇంకా ఆఫీస్కి రమ్మంటున్నావు, అమ్మ ఆడ నేనున్న వేల్స్లా నేను ఆడ హోటల్ ఖర్చులు అయితే దానికి కూడా ఇస్తావు అన్న. అంటే ఇయ్యం అంటే మరి ఎట్లా మావా ఇది ఇట్లా చేస్తే అన్న నేను. అంటే నేను ఏమన్నానంటే, మీరు 750 ఎందుకు స్పెండ్ చేస్తున్నారు, దాని బదులు ఏదో ఒకటి చేసి ఇప్పుడు హోమ్ ఆఫీస్ పోతే డైరెక్ట్ వాడు 750 అవుట్ సైడ్ అంటున్నాడు. క్యాబ్ జెమినీ త్రూ పోతే వాడు 500 అవుట్ సైడ్ ఇస్తున్నాడు కదా. వాడు ఎట్లా చేస్తున్నాడో వీళ్ళు కూడా అదే చేయొచ్చు కదా వెంకట్. అర్థమవుతుంది కదా.
No, thing is like that. I mean, what they are thinking that they will get back all the money back again. Okay, if they put it inside, 50% of the money they will recover it back, right?
42 అయితే స్ట్రైట్ గా పోతుంది. 42
అవుట్ సైడ్ అయితే ఇలా అంటే ఎన్ఐ పే చేయరు, అది పే చేయరు, ఇది పే చేయరు, వాళ్ళకి బెనిఫిట్ ఏం కాదు కదా. సో దట్స్ ద అనదర్ రీజన్.
కానీ అదే వాళ్ళంటే పోనీ, మరి బ్యాంకులకి ఏం లేదు. బ్యాంకులకి దే వోంట్ గెట్, బ్యాంక్ విల్ నాట్ గెట్ 42%, రైట్? గవర్నమెంట్ విల్ గెట్ ద మనీ.
Maybe there might be some commissions they will get at the end of the year. They will get by showing this much. There is some these things, I think, for the corporate companies also.
ఏసీ పగల్సాలే కానీ మీద ఇట్లనే వస్తున్నాడు దేశీయాడు. వాడు చేయడు. ఆయన పెళ్ళామంట డొమిసైల్ స్టేటస్ క్లెయిమ్ చేస్తున్నది. ఫుల్ కాలింది అందరికి.
ఇప్పుడు మొన్న ఇది అనౌన్స్ చేసింది.
మొత్తం ట్యాక్స్ కొట్టిస్తున్నాడు. ఆ ట్యాక్స్ లూప్ హోల్స్ వాడు కవర్ చేయట్లేదు. డొమిసైల్ స్టేటస్ ఎందుకు దానికి? వీడిప్పుడు రేపు కాబోయే ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ గా దానికి పోటీ పడేటోడికి మంచిగా అయింది. ఆడికి ఓడిపోయినాడా అని తీయాల. వాళ్ళది మాత్రం మళ్ళా పెట్టుకొని వానికొక రూలు వేరేలోకి ఒక రూల్ అంటే ఎట్లా మామ చెప్పు. రిషి సోనక్ గాడ్ అంట కాంట్రాక్టర్లని కొట్టడానికి ట్రై చేస్తున్నాడు. రిషి సోనక్ గాడు వాడి పెళ్ళాంకి మాత్రము డొమిసైల్ స్టేటస్ ట్యాక్స్ కట్టదు. ఆడగట్టదు, ఈడగట్టదు ఆమె.
30,000 కడుతుందంట. 30,000 ఇప్పుడు మొన్న అనౌన్స్ చేసింది 2.1 మిలియన్ కడతానని అనౌన్స్ చేసిందంట.
ఎందుకు కట్టుడు అంటే వాళ్ళ భర్త ఇప్పుడు ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ దానికి పోతున్నాడు, మొన్న రేటింగ్ పడ్డదని అట్లా. డొమిసైల్ స్టేటస్ కి నువ్వు ఎట్లా అన్న అడిగిండ్రు కదా, డొమిసైల్ స్టేటస్ పెట్టుకొని నీకు అది ట్యాక్స్ లూపోల్ కనిపించట్లేదా అని అడిగిండ్రు డైరెక్ట్ గా.
కరెక్టే కదా.
నువ్వు కాంట్రాక్టర్ మనకి ఏమో మిలియన్స్ దానిలాగా ఉన్నదేదో ఇప్పుడు మన మీద కష్టపడి గసాయించుకొని ఎంత కొట్టుకున్నాం దొరకక అది దొరకక ఏదో ఒకటి గట్టెక్కినాం ఇప్పుడు దేవుడి దయ వల్ల.
కార్పొరేట్ కంపెనీస్ దగ్గర మాత్రం వాళ్ళు తీసుకోకుండా మన దగ్గర తీసుకుంటారు ఏంటో కదా.
ఏంది వైఫ్ డొమిసైల్ స్టేటస్ ఎందుకు? అది చోర్ పనులు కాదా అది డొమిసైల్ స్టేటస్? అనౌన్స్ షీ విల్ పే యూకే టాక్సెస్ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది ఇప్పుడు?
అది నాన్ డమ్ స్టేటస్.
But she does not want to be distracted.
Now she wants to pay. Yeah, now she wants to pay. Earlier, because she's saying that it's a legal not to pay the tax.
After paying for her 30,000 year, ఏంది 30K అంటే 30K అంటే 30,000 వస్తుంది దానికి.
ఇంతకుముందు 30,000 పే చేసేదంట.
నారాయణ మూర్తి వాళ్ళ బిడ్డ ఆమెకి మిలియన్స్ ఉండొచ్చు.
ఓకే బిల్లా, ఓకే యూకే ట్యాక్స్ బిల్ అంటుంది కదా. షీ ఈజ్ రిచర్ దాన్ ద క్వీన్ ఇన్ ఫ్యాక్ట్.
ఇప్పుడు వాడు చూడు యుఎస్ గ్రీన్ కార్డ్ కూడా పెట్టుకున్నాడు వాడు దొంగన కొడుకు. తప్పు కాదు. ఓకే యూకే పర్మనెంట్ డ్యూయల్ సిటిజన్షిప్, యూకే పర్మనెంట్ పర్మిట్స్ ఫర్దర్ ట్విస్ట్. ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే కాంట్రాక్టర్ ఇప్పుడు గవర్నమెంట్ మన కాంట్రాక్ట్ లేనప్పుడు ఏమన్నా ట్రైనింగ్ కి సపోర్ట్ ఇచ్చి ఓకే ట్యాక్స్ కి అది ఇస్తే అందరూ ఆనెస్ట్ గానే కడతారు కదా వెంకట్. నువ్వు ఏం సపోర్ట్ ఇవ్వట్లేదు కదా. జాబులు పోయినప్పుడు నువ్వు ఏం చేస్తున్నావు, పోయి బెనిఫిట్స్ తీసుకో అంటున్నావు అంతే, ఇంకేం చేయట్లేదు కదా నువ్వు. వైఫ్స్ నాన్ డామ్ స్టేటస్. £11.5 million వస్తుందంట from her stake in families which is headquartered. Means she did not earn from overseas companies. మనకేమో 39.3535 కట్టాలి ట్యాక్స్. అది is not automatic but a choice. Just because a person will never automatically grant them. అందరికంటే ఎక్కువ ఇండియన్ నాన్ డామ్ స్టేటస్.
ఇండియన్స్ ఇండియా, యునైటెడ్ స్టేట్స్, ఫ్రాన్స్, ఆస్ట్రేలియా,
జర్మనీ, సో 11.5 మిలియన్ పౌండ్స్ మీద ఆమె ఎంత కడుతున్నది అసలు కట్టట్లేదు, ఈడ కట్టట్లేదు ఆడ కట్టట్లేదు ఆమె ట్యాక్స్. ఇండియాలో కూడా కట్టదు, ఇండియాలో ఏమో ఈడ అంటది, ఆడేమో ఈడ అంటుంది.
మొత్తం ఎగ్గొడుతుంది.
ఆ, ఆ. .9% stake worth hundreds of million pounds. So according to is treated as non. She has and will always continue on all her taxable income on her UK income. Correct? She's not getting income from UK.
But now she is saying that she will pay the 2.1 million or something like that tax.
అది అప్పుడు అది అది ఏంది ఇంత రచ్చగొట్టినాక వాడే
అదే
చెప్పుకోలేదు.
అదే
అందరు బయట పెట్టేసి ఇప్పుడు వాడు ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ ఏడ దెబ్బతింటాం అనేసి ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ దీనికి ఏడ పోతాననేసి ఇప్పుడు అది కడతా అంటున్నది. అంత అయినాక అదే ముందే వచ్చి చెప్పుంటే సంతోషమే. లేకపోతే ఇట్లా ఉన్నది నాన్ డామ్ స్టేటస్ కి ఇట్లా ఇయ్యలేం మేము అనేసి వాళ్ళు చెప్పాలా. ఓకే, సి ఆమె ఏం చేస్తున్నది, షీఈ్ నాట్ ఇన్వెస్టింగ్ దట్ మనీ ఇన్ బిజినెస్, రైట్? షీఈ్ జస్ట్ లైక్ ఎంజాయింగ్ లైఫ్ విత్ దట్ మనీ. ఆ బిజినెస్ లో పెట్టి ఇంకా 10 మందికి ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ చేస్తే ఎవరేమనరు. నువ్వేం చేస్తున్నావు, పైసా తీసుకొని ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తున్నావు బట్ బాగా, అంతే కదా. అందుకే కోపం వస్తున్నది. ఈడ మేము అందరం పడదాస్తుంటే నువ్వు అనేసి నువ్వేమో ఇష్టం ఉన్నట్టు ట్యాక్స్ కొడుతున్నావు అనేసింది కదా. నాట్ అన్యూజువల్ కాదు, షీఈ్ నాట్ డూయింగ్ ఎనీథింగ్ ఇల్లీగల్, బట్ ఇట్స్ జస్ట్ హిపోక్రిటికల్ దట్ హీఈస్ రైజింగ్ ట్యాక్సెస్. దిస్ ఈస్ అది కూడా ఎవరికి మీద చేస్తున్నాడు, ట్యాక్స్ రైజెస్. ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు వాడు, 20 స్టెల్త్ ట్యాక్స్ ఆన్ యూకే వర్కర్.
ఎన్ఐ 1.1% పెంచుతా ఉన్నాడు కదా.
Double the amount he budgeted for. Anyway, I'm not paying tax. I'm in Germany, so I am also like Rishi Son. ఇదే ఈ పనులు చేస్తేనే నాకు చిరాకులు వేస్తాయి. వీళ్ళని చూస్తే నాకు నేనెందుకు కట్టాలి అంట ట్యాక్స్ నేను కట్ట. Anyway, so let us without further this one, let us now get back to this thing. What I'll do is I'll delete this cluster because I can always recreate it. ఒక 4-5 సార్లు చేస్తే కానీ నాకు మైండ్లో కూర్చోదు అంతే. నేనేమన్నా ఆ హోమ్ ఆఫీస్లో మేనేజర్లా నువ్వు ఈ 2 టీంలలో ఆప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఏ టీంలో పనిచేస్తావు అంటే నేనేమన్నా నాకేం ప్రాబ్లం లేదు, నేను ఇది నాకేమో ఇది ఫ్యాన్సీ కాదు, ఏం కాదు, ఇది నాకేమో ఇది ఆట వస్తువు కాదు, నాకు ఇది తిండి తిప్పలు చెప్పే పని, ఏడ వర్క్ ఉంటే ఆడ చేస్తా యాజ్ లాంగ్ యాజ్ లైనెక్స్ సిస్టమ్స్ ఉంటే. ఎందుకంటే నాకు స్కిల్ ఇప్పుడు దాంట్లోనే ఉంది, విండోస్ మీద లేదు. నేర్చుకోవాలంటే 1 మంత్ అవుతుంది అంటే లేదేమో అన్ని లైనెక్స్ ఉన్నాయి, సెంటాస్ ఉన్నాయి అది కూడా అంటే. అందుకే నేనన్నా ఓకే అన్న. నాకేం లేదు కదా, మనకేముంది ఆడ ఏడ పని దొరికితే ఆడికి పోతాము అంటే మన ఫీల్డ్. అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఇప్పుడు జావా చేయమంటే చేస్తామా అంటే నాకు రాదు చేయడం, లేకపోతే చేయొస్తే చేయొచ్చు. డెవాప్స్ ఏరియాలో నాకేం లేదు, ఎక్కడ ఏ సైడ్ వర్క్ ఇచ్చినా నేను చేస్తాను అని చెప్పిన. అదే వాళ్ళకి చెప్పినా కూడా నేను I told them that lot of people just like jump into latest technologies because there is money or there is probably more fun to do with. But what there is అన్ని ఇదే లైనెక్స్ వచ్చినోడికి నాకు కుబర్నెటిస్ అంతసేపు ఎందుకు పట్టింది నేర్చుకోవడము, లైనెక్స్ సరిగ్గా రాక అదైంది. ఓకే, ఎనీవే, సో ఫస్ట్ మన సెంటాస్ సిస్టమ్ విచ్ ఈస్ యాక్చువల్లీ వేర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్ ఈస్ దేర్ అండ్ దిస్ థింగ్. ఈ మధ్యలో ఉబుంటు కూడా ఎక్కువ వాడుతున్నారు కానీ ఎందుకో, ముందు వాడేటోళ్ళు కాదు, ఈ మధ్యలో వాడుతున్నారు. ఈరోజు లోడింగ్. ఓకే,
మా అన్ని మొత్తం రెడ్ హ్యాట్, మా అన్ని రెడ్ హ్యాట్ సిస్టమ్స్.
మీవి రెడ్ హ్యాటే కదా. ఓకే, సో నౌ లెట్ us get to
but
also.
the thing is that if they use Linux one, they are giving a computer saving plan, the refunds actually. For Red Hat, because if you use this many of hours, there I know there is some I think the discounts from the AWS. If you use their own AWS Linux, if you use Red Hat, they won't give any refunds.
No, Amazon Linux is also okay for me because Amazon Linux
Because
is
in
nothing.
our system, they are buying from the CIS security stuff initially, and then they are cutting a golden AMIs from that. So that's why they don't want to use the AWS line because of security.
Okay. All right, I'll just launch an AMI that is there. Okay, now let's get back to chapter 11 is about logging. But if you learn Linux logging, it is the same logs that actually get into this thing. What we need to know is how to look at the configure the log files, how to use journal CTL command, and and what else is there in the syllabus? Preserving the system journal. Okay, journal CTL doesn't give it, and the old way of actually like looking at the logs instead of using journal this one. Next, we will also look at the effect of NTP, network time protocol, on the logs. Because if we don't have NTP, then it will be a problem. Okay, NTP అనేది చాలా అది time date CTL. Also, we'll finish it. It used to be a separate chapter in Red Hat. What they have done is they have combined both of them together. Okay, so today the topics will be first of all logging. Okay, logging, rsyslogd, which was a traditional logging mechanism, older logging mechanism. Okay, but it is still important because almost all the logs are written to rsyslogd, and then using journaling command. Same thing goes. These same things or logs are used for Docker because Docker is nothing but a Linux environment. That's it. It's actually a process, but this is there. Then we will look at the cronny, okay, which is implementing NTP protocol, okay, network time protocol. Will not configure a server, only will configure a client, okay. Then some of the journal CTL commands, which are very useful to us for troubleshooting on any Linux platform. Okay, so first let me go with CentOS because this Red Hat will do something. Red Hat ఓడి ఏంటంటే వానికి ఏం డబ్బులు రావట్లేదని మనకి బాధ. అందుకే వాడు he went and bought CentOS. Then CentOS team left CentOS. Now they are forming Rocky Linux team. Okay, so we'll just do launch instance and Amazon is supporting them. Okay, so let's launch a CentOS system. Okay, isn't this CentOS community AMS we want? CentOS, yeah, this one, CentOS 7, Banzai Cloud we are doing. Okay, CentOS 7, next configure instance detail. Okay, so let's actually review what we are doing instead of doing it blindly. This is the machine image in the cloud. Okay, this is the same machine image which we create from the virtual box or we create from anywhere. This is actually the same machine image. Okay, so what we need is CentOS 7 select. Next is t2.micro. Next available. So just to recap, VPC, it will have availability zone. Rakesh, I know it is new to you, that's why I'm going slow. See, what happens is what AWS has is several data centers. Revision is always good, even for those seniors also, because See, I was like thinking they will ask me so many Kubernetes questions, but they went and asked all basic questions only. Okay, because they know that if basics are strong, the other things you can learn within two or three. Kubernetes. Why a lot of people find Kubernetes very difficult is they don't understand the traditional networking or even VPC networking. That is why they find it very difficult. Okay, so each availability zone, like if you look at it, right, there is Europe has this Europe Frankfurt, Europe Ireland, Europe London. Now, okay, these ఇవి కొత్తగా యాడ్ అయినట్టున్నాయి స్టాక్హోమ్ ప్యారిస్. Okay, then there is Bahrain. Where is Hyderabad? Hyderabad is not showing. No, Asia Pacific. Mumbai is there. Delhi was there. No, Hyderabad. Hyderabad should have been operational. No, Hyderabad. It's not coming yet. Okay. So if you look at it, these are the data centers of Amazon throughout the world. Okay, Rishi already, that other chap who's it name, what's Sidhu, right? Sidhu, you have done little bit, right, on AWS. Hello? Sidhu, you are on mute.
Yes, sir.
Ah. So let us go through this again. Number of instances, 1. Spot instances. What does this mean? That means that they will do a bidding. Okay, this is good. But what happens is, even if you win the bid, it will not be there for with you forever. Okay, why? If somebody gives a more bidding, they will give that bidding to them. Okay, so spot instances we don't need it. Then there is only VPC. VPC means virtual private cloud. When we go into cloud, not for those seniors, there are two juniors, right? Rakesh and this one. We will explore this thing. But for now, EC2 instance launch for launching it, VPC we need for everything. Okay, that we will treat it as separately. Then that VPC has been broken into 3 subnets. When we go into the AWS class, we will learn how to create more subnets and how to break into the VPC. Then auto assign public IP. What does it mean? What does a public IP mean? Public IP means whatever is accessible from the internet, and that setting has to be enabled at the VPC level. Then host name is use subnet setting, DNS host name, capacity reservation. Okay, domain join directory. Domain join directory means this is like a free IPA. We learnt about free IPA, right, in Linux networking class. We are Kerberos or using something where they will join a particular machine to a particular domain. This is quite advanced, so we'll leave that for now. IAM role means whatever you can do on a machine using AWS command line, we can use it. Same thing with IAM role. What I am shocked is I had one interview on Monday that senior architect was asking what is an IAM role. He actually didn't know what an IAM role is. Okay, then I demonstrated to him the Jenkins. They didn't give me the job. They didn't even give me the reason why. That was 550 outside IR35 and working from home, but they didn't give me the job. Okay, I was really very mad with them. So we have an IAM role in which we have all of these particular roles for that machine. Okay, that will go over later. That is not part of Linux. That is part of, this is the only thing that gets added as part of AWS. Okay, hibernation. Hibernation, even I don't know what it means. Termination protection means if somebody wants to accidentally terminate this instance, you need to protect against this. Monitoring. CloudWatch monitoring. That means the logs that are there with the CloudWatch, but right now, tenancy means when you create a VM, like for example, when we created a VM in the virtual box, what did we do? Okay, so this is the virtual. Okay, see, on my machine, there are two virtual machines. Okay, VMs. Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, because there is a sound network gap. Okay, so these are the two virtual machines, but here we are saying that run shared means both of them, like you can launch this virtual machine in a machine, in an actual physical machine in which there are other VMs too. Run a dedicated instance means you will not share with anything. I don't know the difference between this thing. Launch dedicated host in the shared instance. Ah, dedicated host means on a particular rack. I think. Okay, this I don't know, to be honest. Dedicated. It will be the only VM on that particular machine. Okay, for security purposes, we launch it here. Okay. Next, metadata version, user data, we leave it alone. Okay. Next, add storage. How much that will be there? That is simply gigabytes. Okay. Then next, add tag name. Simply equal to we are learning this logging. So you can always give a meaningful name, logging class. Okay, so that is there. Next, security group. Now this security is firewall. That means what traffic do you want to allow?
Can we enforce the tags without tags? We can is there any settings which we can enforce the tags? Without tags, we
There are
can't.
several ways you can do it.
Is it?
That one it at the landing zone account SCP, service control policies.
Okay, service control policies. Okay.
Service control policy.
Yeah. So because as we are doing business tagging, some of the systems they are launching without the business tags. So we are trying to enforce that.
Service control policy tags. See, we can do it. Example SCPs for tagging, service control policy. See, service control policies. It is similar to IAM, but this is there. Okay. So deny run instance with, see here, without any tags. If there is no tag called project,
Without no project. Okay.
without any tag, and you're also telling a name. If there is nothing
Okay.
called project, if there is nothing like cost center, you can't.
Okay. Yeah, we
Okay,
have
cost
project cost center and yeah.
and yeah. So we need to enforce this at the SCP, service control policy level. AWS account level, we have to enforce.
Okay. Okay.
At
Organization
account
basically.
level, at organizational account level, we
Okay.
need to enable what is called as the service control policy. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this was a question that was asked. I answered it as guardrail. He told it. Okay, this is
Yeah,
service control.
in HMRC they are using guardrail. I saw. I heard.
But this is like the service control policies. We have to initialize it at that level. Okay. So that is what we are doing. Okay, so deny run instances without no cost center. Deny EC2 colon run instances. Resource is simply equal to instance star and volume. అంటే ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నామంటే వితౌట్ నో కాస్ట్ సెంటర్ ట్యాగ్ డినై చేస్తున్నాము. ఏంది కండిషన్? ఒకవేళ ఇఫ్ ద కండిషన్ ఇఫ్ దిస్ వన్ టర్న్స్ అవుట్ టు బి ఎ నల్, we give this particular thing. Okay, so this is simply called as the service control policy. I didn't know that. Even I didn't know that. They said like you have to use SCP or Service Control Policy, AWS organization control. So I'm going
We
to select an
started actually
existing
in the last
security group.
last week only. Yesterday, this one.
Which one?
This one, the service control policy. So we are enforcing for the tagging.
Now, right? You are doing it.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing, but just we are suggesting. So maybe the platform engineers they will make sure it works
Okay, the
because we
tags,
can only give a
just
suggestion.
give them this policy. Just give them this policy. That's it. SCP.
Yeah.
Just give
Yeah.
them this SCP and give them the tag name. They will do it. Okay, and they'll modify the service control policy for the entire account. It will be valid. Okay. So next is review and launch, and then that is there tags. So this is simply equal to Jenkins key pair, and then that is simply equal to launch instance. So Jenkins key pair view instance. So this will give us the machine. Now what AWS means that much. After the machine is there, everything is Linux. Okay. So AWS is whatever you learn. For example, database. If you know how to manage SQL database as a SQL admin, then you can easily learn RDS because RDS mala you are just of course it has become even easier because they will do it as managed. So now we have the EC2 instance. So let us get here. I will show you a couple of ways. The best way is connect, and then we should get it as this thing. Okay. Right. So we just get into CentOS system here, and then it is there. So traditionally, what used to happen on Linux systems is there used to be services. Now let us see where that service is there. First, let us see in Linux systems, the main thing you need to know is everything you need to put it in etc. Okay, for all the systems, rsyslogd.conf. And in Unix systems, you have this rsyslog.conf, which you can use. There will be one configuration file in the Unix system, and you can also put any additional confirmation in rsyslog.d. So best practice is don't try to modify this file directly. Instead, create a snap-in file in this particular directory called rsyslog.d directory. Okay. And from now on, those people who have already understood system daemon, we have to know that what is the daemon process that actually manages logging. For everything, there will be a daemon process. So when we learn a new system, what do we mean? First, we need to understand the functionality. Then we need to know the name of the daemon process. Then we need to know the configuration options that are available for various things. Okay. So systemctl status rsyslog. Okay. So now if you look at it, there is a rsyslog daemon that is running. Rsyslog. That is why it is called as this thing. Now, even though we are teaching about logging, almost all the services in the Linux are structured the same way. What does it mean? It means that rsyslog is running. Then you can do a man rsyslog d8, and then it should be rsyslog d minus n. Means the actual command that is being run is rsyslog d is the command with minus n option. We can also look what is that option. Okay, previously when I look at this output, my heart used to shake. But now, if I am telling what we have to look for, that is there. this one is telling where the configuration file for that service is. So we can just open that service. Okay, here rsyslogd daemon. For those who are going into Linux admin, I mean after the next basic command line, you have to learn what are the services that are there. Okay, and uh, logging is the most important, one of the most important service. So here, what does it say? So here it is saying uh, this one is just a description. To recap, wants means this one will leave it now for those who are freshers, but let us just focus on this one. The main thing is you can run the daemon process with these options also. -n syslogd options. Now where are these coming from? This one I never understood, but I think they are actually coming from this particular environment file called as rsyslogd, this one. Okay. So what we have here is so here we have rsyslogd. So here, see, they have defined an environment variable called as rsyslogd underscore options, and right now they are empty. Okay. So all that this daemon process is doing is rsyslogd minus n and whatever are the options that are defined in there. We haven't defined anything. Then what is it saying? When this service fails for some reason, automatically restart. Umask, everybody knows Umask, but even I don't know what this particular why the Umask is required at the service, this thing. Standard output is null, means don't output anything at all. And then you are again, this is again like, restart, well, this thing. Okay, so the main thing is this. For now, just focus on this particular thing. And then you will have this etc syslog r syslog. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that is there. So user lib systemd system r syslog dot service. So this is there, and then r syslog, and then that is simply equal to the this thing. So we have the syslog dot service here. Okay. So this is the r syslog. So now let us see what are the properties where what then we have to learn how it is configured. Okay, in Linux, what configuration and what exactly does that configuration mean? Okay, so here var log journal, but no, not log this thing. We'll first finish up the RSys log and then go to the journal CTL this thing. Wait, because I think no, okay, they have covered the both of them. Okay, just a minute. rsyslog, yeah. Simple rules for our syslog. So if we look at it, we can look at where the rsyslog configuration is. Now this is the actual configuration file. Okay, now this is the actual configuration file. Now whenever you look at this particular file, right, it's like very daunting for anybody. Okay, but these are all comments. In Unix, most of the services, the comments are given by hash. Okay, so here what they are saying here is this is like it is saying this is input from journal, means in Unix there are two logging nowadays in the newer Unix systems. Previously only rsyslog used to be there, but now they are also something called as journaling daemon. Okay, now the input from that journaling daemon is also sent to this particular thing. That's what this particular message means. Okay, mod load I am journal means this particular thing. Okay, now if you want to make this as, if you want to get logs from other servers into one single server, previously before this containers or CloudWatch or cloud came, people used to have one central logging server where all the logs from all the systems would come and sit. Okay, in that particular case you can open this either on a UDP port or on a TCP port. Now let us break here. UDP port means, for now, when some packets are sent over the internet, okay, now I'm not saying internet, over the network, UDP is an unreliable protocol in the sense, once it sends a packet, it will not wait until an acknowledgement is received that the other computer has received the packet. It will simply keep sending the packets. Whereas the TCP is a very reliable protocol. That's all it means. Okay, I'll keep repeating that networking, this thing. So here that is there. And the, if we want to enable central logging, then we will have to comment uncomment out this particular thing. So this particular machine will become a central logging server for everything. It is like CloudWatch, where all the logs go right into one managed service. It is like building something like that. That's all we need to know about this particular thing. Okay. And then the most important thing is the rules. Here, what does it mean? It means in Unix, there were a lot of facilities. Auth prive is logging. Whenever you are logging, anything that comes from auth prive will go to where log secure. That is where the log messages will go. That's what we are saying. And the logging has 4 levels in any logging system: debug, info, warn, and error. Okay. So there is simply nothing but debug, info, warn, error. Next is, here we have star.info. That means from any system, any service, there is info level. Mail.none means from mail you don't want it. From auth prive we don't want it, and cron. Except for cron daemon, except for auth prive daemon, except for mail daemon, for anything send it to where log messages. Okay, mail. Lot of systems have mail this thing, that is simply equal to where log mail log. For cron, it goes into where log cron. Emergency messages is star.emergency, and it will go to all the logs. Okay, that's what it's saying. I don't know, even I don't know how to configure this one. Okay, then there are other processes like UUCP and news. There is a daemon. Okay, that is what it says. And any boot messages, it is saying is local 7. I don't know how to interpret this. Okay, that is var log boot.log. Okay, so this is what we need to know. Only if you want to introduce a new service that comes, and if the entry is not there, you can define it anywhere where you want to go. Okay, that is very important. To configure a log for a particular service is the most important task one has to do. Okay, all right, and then this is there, and here we are actually telling the remote host 514. Okay, and then this is simply equal to the rsyslogd mode. Okay, so we have the IM UDP, we have the UDP server, and then we have the TCP server. And then what we are doing here is we are just going to include all the configuration files. See, this line is saying I will also process etc rsyslogd files. Okay, that is what we need to know. Main thing here is we might forget where our thing is there. Varlog messages. Anybody trying to access Varlog secure. So let us see what is happening. Okay. So the best way is the basic Unix command called tail -10 F. Okay, F for this thing. It will show you the last 10 lines. Okay, that is permission is denied. This is because I'm not root. Okay. Okay, so here, if we look at it, right, created user slice of CentOS, selected source, this one, selected source, replaced with this thing, start cleaning up of the temporary directories. So here, what we are saying is at April 9, 2021, there are some messages that are coming. Okay, from Cronny Daemon, there are some messages, and there are some messages from uh, some other services. So this is where any failure messages you will see, they will always end up in var log messages. But from Red Hat 8 onwards, what is happening, or CentOS 8 onwards, they are not directly installing rsyslog. I would advise you, if that is not there, install syslogging daemon. Okay, because if we don't install system log, then we will not be able to uh, do the traditional way with grep and all those commands. We will not be able to do. Okay, so this is how the logging is structured in the Linux. Now, if we look at varlog secure, anybody who has tried to get into the system um, and has failed, this is where we can easily find out if somebody is trying to hack, or even if there are failures. Okay, so here if it is like it, see, reverse mapping checking, this guy, I don't know, accepted public key from CentOS. See, when I logged in today at around 12:21 at this particular time, it is telling from where it has logged. Okay, it has actually looked at what is this port 3412 RSA, PAM Unix, home user security session opened for user root by CentOS. Okay, so that is there. Now, the one way to interact with this logger is with using the logger command. Okay. So if I just say logger, then what we'll have to do is logger, then it says like testing logging command. If I do this, right, what will happen now? Let us go and look at the last messages of varlog messages. Okay, so testing logging command, and who has done it? CentOS user, and he has actually put this particular thing. There is a timestamp entry, and then this particular thing. Okay, so that is where we have to use our this thing. Next is etc syslogd dot etc etc syslogd dot conf. rsyslogd.conf. Okay. Next is if I just open etc rsyslogd.conf. Okay. So here, if we look at it, okay. So if you look at this particular thing, see now my thing is I would like to send something to varlog secure. Okay, how will I do that? Let us look at the options. So in Unix, that's why I taught that class, right? How to read the options is very important. Logger minus minus L. Here, if you look at P priority, okay, mark given message with this particular priority. Okay, and let me see what is that auth prive. So logger minus P auth priv, okay, dot one, okay, somebody trying to get into system. Let me see if it works. Okay, now if I do it, tail minus 10f var log secure. See, it has now gone into this thing because I have actually used one of the system services. How did I do it? If I look at rsyslogd.conf, etc rsyslogd.conf. So if I get into this particular system, yeah, we are able to now get into the auth prive dot star, then there is mail star. So if you want to send it to any particular log, minus P option will tell you, you can configure the service name and the criticality level. Okay, this is something, see, the first time when I learned, I did. So every time we learn, our knowledge becomes more deeper. Okay, so that is where it is. So tail minus 10f auth prive dot one. Next is this is there, logger, this thing is there. And if I look at the etc rsyslogd.conf, okay, and then cron, if I want to give it to cron, okay, cron we have finished. Okay, so logger, let us now try cron. Okay, so always it is very important whenever you are learning any new system, you need to know where the logging is. If you are a programmer or a DevOps engineer, whenever you do something or when a system is going wrong, you need to know how to troubleshoot it. You need to get it. In the Amazon world, those logs are actually stored in the AWS. They are stored in CloudWatch. Okay. So this is the central place where the logs are stored. And here you can actually see what is happening to everything. Okay. So now right now there are some logs. See whatever is happening to my Kubernetes cluster that I've created, I can look at what is happening log stream because I have enabled logging. Okay, so here something is happening. Okay, if some problem is happening, this is where you can actually go and find out. Okay, that is the CloudWatch log events. So always you need to know for AWS it is CloudWatch and for this particular thing. Now at while people have Rakesh has not yet been taught VPC, it has to be there at the VPC CloudWatch level. Yeah. So this is there, and then we have got a VPC. There should be a VPC flow logs somewhere. If some connectivity is not there, there should be a VPC flow log. I don't think there is a flow log enabled for this particular thing. Um, okay, so here when we create this particular thing, then there is flow logs here. See, there is no VPC flow log. So it makes my life very difficult to troubleshoot why a traffic is not coming. So for example, if security group, which is usually a problem, let us see if I create this particular thing. Okay, it will immediately tell, okay, my flow log 2. Okay, this is very important for those production systems. Destination log group, we don't want. Uh, IAM role, the IAM role that has permissions to publish to CloudWatch. So he's saying like we will have to, even I have never set up the flow logs, but I'll look into it. Tomorrow I'll tell, okay? Because this was also one of the, I know that there is a flow log. So always enable for all your services at some place where you can enable logging so that you can easily troubleshoot the system, okay? The VPC flow log is a very good one because what happens is every network interface that gets launched, whether it is load balancer, whether it is your EC2 instance, whether anything that will be there, that particular log information is created in the VPC flow log. Yeah. Okay. So that is there. Next is okay, so that is simply equal to this thing rsyslogd.conf. Okay, so main is to summarize rsyslog and journaling daemon. Both are required, both are used. And if you don't know, if you don't have rsyslogd, first you have to tell m provides /r/syslog. Is it there? Let's see. Yum provides is very good tool. Okay, because you can always get the information from that particular thing. You understand, right? Yeah. Okay. So here what is saying, it is saying one of the doesn't have enough cache to continue. Failed. One of the configure. Okay, that is fine. But in our case, it is there. Otherwise, I think install rsyslog. If you look at the install rsyslog. Okay, so here we have it. Is not installed. Apt install rsyslog. There are several ways. Okay, rsyslog. It is there on all Linux systems. Okay, whether it is Ubuntu or with the CentOS and running in the CentOS system. Okay, so they are also telling how to send Apache and Nginx logs there. So here RPM minus query they are doing, or rsyslogd minus grep. If it is there, that is there. Otherwise, is not installed, then yum install rsyslogd. Here, see, this is how they are asking you to configure. If you want to receive traffic into this thing, make sure that of the remote log, the above line instructs to set. See here, what we are saying is send all the logs to the local, plus also send it to remote server. So there is a central log place where all the logs are collected, just like CloudWatch. And this is where previously people used to do. They used to have central logging service, and all the machines they would actually configure it to send it that particular thing. That will be simply a logging server, nothing. Okay, and then you should be, and then we will be able to get it. And another, we want to use a reliable such as TCP and another. Okay, so this is the special character kernel.info, and then send Apache and Nginx logs. Is saying add the final line below, that is their error log, and then there is HTTPDs or that. Okay, this is they are asking somehow how the Apache and those things can be configured, but for now we are just this is enough, because if you have this much background and even when you go and do Google search or get an implementation, but without having this background you won't be able to understand that article at all. Okay, you will, even for copying and pasting it's very difficult. Okay, now so we have learned how to look at the logs, and the main files are var log messages, we have. Okay, tail minus 10 var log secure, that is all the loggings are actually being coming through this particular thing here. And then there is tail minus var log audit, so here we have this var log audit.log. So this is where the auditing, this is a different type of this thing, var log messages, cron, because we'll soon see these services today, hopefully. Var log messages, var log cron, okay. And then there was var log messages, var log secure, var log cron, and boot messages will go to boot.log. Okay, this is what the boot log messages is there. And how to interact with that logging, this thing from command line, it is logger. Okay, and any Unix command, anybody, even if you write your own shell script, make sure that you write it in this format so that others can use your thing. Here it is saying -d. Options means all of them are optionals. Message. See, that's why I keep repeating again and again how the basics. If somebody doesn't know, I never knew what was square bracket options. You will not know what to do with it. Okay, you will not know how to compose a command, which will actually get into this thing. Okay, so that is simply equal to -i process ID. Also, we want to log the contents of this file. So let us see. We can experiment depending on what our client requirements are. Okay, and then remote log server is there -p. See, now you can use this command line tool because now you have the theory. So if there was a remote logging server, okay, then you would simply say -n and then you will write it to that remote. And minus p is simply equal to this thing. Minus p is simply equal to the priority. Even though they are saying it as priority, you can also this thing. So here what we are saying is standard error. See, if those people haven't come here without understanding that in Linux, the basic Linux, 1, 2, 3. That's why, Venkat and Abhijit, they're all seniors. They have been with me for almost 1.5 years. Venkat is now working as DevOps engineer almost 4 months, right, Venkat? 4 months completed now?
Nearly
Or,
3 months, yeah. 2.5 months.
yeah, 2.5. You joined in January, right?
January 18th, I think. After next week, it will be finished. 3 months.
3 months will be finished. Okay. So we worked very hard for Rakesh and those guys. Please don't repeat the mistakes that we did when we. I mean, Venkat and Abhijit lesser mistakes. I did a lot of mistakes. We directly tried to learn cloud without actually learning Linux. Okay. And how much Linux is required? Whatever is part of RHSCA syllabus, compulsory must have. Actually, the older RHSCA syllabus is the compulsory must have. But now the newer RHSCA syllabus, they removed SSH, which is very, very important. If you go any place to work, if you don't know how to do SSH, they'll fire you on the first day. Okay. If you don't know, seriously, that is how important SSH is. Okay. At least to a level that is there. Okay. So we have a logger, and then we have a standard error. We have the -f minus v. That is simply equal to the version. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now we know how to interact with this particular thing. Now let us explore some more options. Logger minus s means standard error also I want to give. I want to send this to maybe, I forgot this, facility. Facility means, so I just go to rsyslogd.conf. rsyslogd.conf. Okay. So here, if you look at it, we have news.critical, which goes to varlog spooler. Okay, so let's try news.critical. Okay, so logger minus s means go on the standard error also, go into the silent mode, and then this is simply equal to news.critical. Okay, and then just say this is a critical, just something. Okay, this is a critical message. Now what that will do is it will log into the standard error, and it will also go to varlog spooler. Yeah. Then if you do it, tail minus 10f var log spooler, right? See, you got this is a critical message. So that is simply this particular thing, and here it is logging the IP address, and then this is there. So how to interact, where to look at the messages, especially varlog secure is very important for DevOps engineers, because if somebody is not able to log in, you can easily see if they are telling correctly. That means is the traffic coming at least till the machine. That is a way to troubleshoot that particular thing. Okay. Right. Now user.debug. Then they say user. Now what are they saying is, hang on, these books have given some assignments for us to do. I'll do it. Wait, what is saying is, instead of logging messages to a file, they can also be printed. Have a setting with emergency priority to colon our message colon star. Means emergency priority. Okay. Next is, for those who wish to further consult man page and the extensive documentation from the rlog option. Log rotate. Log rotate is also very important. The older log log rotate. For example, it is renamed with an extension, this thing, logging messages manually. Next is verify that all messages hyphen debug. No, he's saying messages hyphen debug. What he's this book, he didn't write it. I'm just following. Just a minute. Restart logger minus p. Tail command. Is there a messages hyphen debug? No. Tail minus 10f var log messages hyphen debug. Wait. They are asking. Just a minute. User. See, to send a message that gets recorded, we do this. Okay. Now 1, 2. No, I'm just trying to see where this guy has like totally messed up the. I'm trying to see here where that guy is saying that he has configured another facility. I can't see it. This book used to be type of messages systemd journald rsyslogd conf. Okay, he's saying that which file store messages related to schedule var log cron, related to system startup bootloader. Okay, which style cron bootloader. Okay, fine. See here we are saying that kernel messages, we go to dev console, star.info, fail, authprive.none, cron.none. Log all the mail messages in one place. When a log file is rotated, it is renamed, indicating, for example, the old, maybe the logger command. Here he is saying local that we have already tried. Okay, he's saying system, why? See, he never minus p user.star. So something called user.star, is it? We can configure. Okay, let's experiment it ourselves. See, his aim is he's introducing a new facility. Okay. So what we will do is vi etc rsyslogd.conf. Right, and then authprive is there. Var log, okay. So here we have something called as log configuration. debug messages user dot star slash var slash log messages hyphen debug. Okay, that's what he's saying. So here we simply say r syslogd r syslogd. Okay, so we have restarted this particular thing, and then if we go here, what are these things? It should be there. There is a mail message, there is a cron job, there is a user message, user dot means vol logger minus p user dot info. Let us see if it comes. Okay, then we should be able to tail this, hopefully. That's what he's saying. Okay, even I didn't know that it's this one. Okay, wow. This is something that Venkat we didn't learn in the first time also, right? Okay. So this is how we didn't learn it the first time, that we can introduce our own facility and how to use it. Okay, first time we didn't learn it. Now we have learned it, but even the book is not clear. He didn't say that he missed the step of actually creating an entry. So you can create whatever entry you want. That is very good. Okay, it's not that this is there, but whichever system process need to use those commands. That's all we have to do. This is something that we have covered this though, that IMX, and we did the configuration for that. But let us stick with what RHSCA official document exercises give us. This one is very important though, central logging configuration that used to be part of the older RHSCA or RHSE. Because if you understand that central logging configuration, all these things, this Prometheus, this Grafana, whatever the thing is happening, and we will get a clear picture. Okay, the same idea they have, but they are doing it differently in cloud. Okay, that's it. So that is there. So here what we are doing is basically we are introducing a new service called user.star. What here I am saying is anything, either info messages, warn messages, error messages, debug info warn error. Here they are also calling it as critical. Okay, and they are also calling the messages as emergency. Now, how do we actually find out what is there? Always look at the man page. There is a man page for configuration file also. Okay, previously there was only, we thought there was a man page for command. There is also a man page for the configuration file. So here it will say, output. See, this log, even nobody can understand this log man page. Okay, sorry. Unless we look at the examples, unless we understand this particular thing, right? It's very difficult for you guys to understand this, but slowly you will understand it. I can understand it, but even it requires a lot of concentration. If you don't, like nobody can read the man page and compose a command. Okay, no, you have to first follow the basics. After the basics are done, then we will, know this particular thing. So this is the understood. So this is there. Okay. So this is there. Restart rsyslogd. Yeah. Wait. Now there is another way to interact with the logging daemon, that is using the journal CTL minus N5. Now journal CTL is a newer way. Instead of directly telling varlog messages, it will also like to journal. Messages, varlog messages will write to journal, journal will write back to messages. But journal CTL is very good to interact as a command line. Okay, so here if we look at it, so many options are there. We'll go through some of the most important ones. Okay, see the minus n, number of journal entries to show. So that is simply equal to journal CTL minus n5. So it will give you the last 5 log entries, or this is there that have been there in the journal log, whatever is there in that journal, we'll see the last 5 entries. Okay, minus f command is like a tail minus f command where you can get it. Okay, so journal CTL minus f. Okay, so that is simply equal to this particular thing. Okay, right, so journal CTL minus f, that is simply equal to this particular thing. Okay, next వచ్చేసి another useful thing is, if you know that some error has happened in the past, I am covering the most important options which are given in the book. Even though journal CTL has this thing, the another win which I have find is Docker. Suppose let me install, not Docker. If some system is installed, okay, let us say cron. So journal CTL minus u cron. Okay, so no entries. I mean, if you know the service name, because as a system administrator, you will install some service. You will install a service like Docker. You might install service like Kubernetes. You might install service like Apache. You might install service like Nginx. Okay. If you install those services, which unit is there? Ante log entries related to a particular unit. Okay. Now, so journal CTL minus since, then you will have to do 2019 minus O2 O10 20 colon 30 colon 00. Right, so that is simply equal to this particular thing, journal CTL minus since, means whenever between dates, minus since and minus until. Very good, this thing. And then if you do a tab, no, bash completer is not there. Another tool, as a beginner, please install bash completion. Okay, it will make your life so easy. Bash completion. Now what is happening is, okay, bash completion, once the bash completion is there, it makes your life this thing. Okay, journal CTL. Okay, but there is no bash completion for now. Each individual tool has to have a bash completion. So there might be a bash completion for journal CTL. Bash completion. There is no, okay. Somebody has written underscore journal CTL complete minus F. So, okay. So what do? We have to run this script. Okay. So let me see. If somebody has written that, it's good. Okay. But doesn't looks to be this thing. Okay. So we don't want this curl command because it's bringing all the, I just want the script. Raw formula కావాలి. Bash completion. Okay. Tab is not working. Okay, let's leave it. Journal CTL tab is not working. So we can just have two windows, have this thing. But please remember the most important ones because when you are in production systems, we don't have time. Okay, next is sys and then until. Okay. So another thing is minus u since 2009. Okay. So you can do minus minus until. Okay. Minus minus yesterday's time. Okay, 2020 2022 09, that is simply equal to 04 002 2002 04 hyphen 09. So that is simply equal to minus minus since no entries. Why? Since equal to date. Now, what is the date format? We don't know the date format. For that, either we have to do a Google search or O210. The date format we don't know, right? For that, we'll have to look at the, we can't do it to. So here it is saying minus minus since option. Okay, here is saying yeah, but he doesn't say which is a month and which is a day here. Okay, we know now that, see, if they give an example like this, it is clear that the last component must be a day. 0409. See, there is nothing, no entries because we are already past that time. Now that is simply equal to 12. Yeah. So then we have this particular thing. Okay. So journal CTL minus U. So journal CTL minus minus since. Minus minus until. Okay. Okay, minus minus until, that is simply equal to maybe the last 1 hour. We don't want it. Okay, so like this. So the since and until are very good things because it gives you a time range. Journal CTL minus F is just like tail minus F, and then journal CTL minus U by unit. Okay, if there is a particular unit which is there, so NTPD, if you look at it, NTPD there is none. ChroniD. See, these are all the messages that are coming from only one particular service called ChroniD. Okay, these are very useful. Date ranges and with the this one is very important. And you can also do a journal CTL with minus 1 hour. That is very good. Okay. So journal CTL, because this book they have actually seen what are the most common production problems and most useful, and then they have accumulated that one. Okay. So these are all the messages that you can see since last 1 hour. Okay. Now, next thing is minus O verbose. In addition to that, there are fields attached that can only be seen when verbose. Okay, they are saying that you can also turn off verbose option. Okay, so of this, the most important thing, a command which you already know about, always do a help. Okay, which you have already used before, help. command which have not used before or no have some basic idea, go to man page or go to Google. Even if you go to Google, still go to man page because it will help your understanding. Okay, so here the most important options are since and until, number of this thing, and then minus u. Other thing is kernel messages, D messages. Okay, this will be the kernel log. Okay, that is the boot messages or these things is simply equal to var log boot dot log. Okay, so minus k minus minus D message. So this is the kernel messages. You understand, right? Yeah. So these are the main important from where, from when to where, which unit, that is very useful for you. Last 10 or 15 entries, and then to look at the kernel messages. Okay, D message previously was the command. D message was the kernel messages. Now a single point of entry is the same thing. You can see it with D message. Okay. Kernel messages. Kernel messages means whenever the system has booted up, for mounting all your drives, for mounting all your network cards and everything, those will be usually related to the kernel messages. Okay, so that we will have to do it. So that is all that we have learned with this thing. Now what are they asking us to do? Let us see. They have given us an exercise. Now they are also saying that you can do with the process ID. Okay, instead of system unit, they are saying with the process ID. And okay, SSHD. Okay, now they are saying with the process ID. So sometimes by using PSAUX command, which is also quite good. Okay, so here we have the process IDs, right? So we have the process ID. So if I do it here, what is the process ID? By process ID, if there is something, no, it's not there. Merge D messages process ID. There is something called as the process ID. Minus RMO reversal. Priority. Okay, there is no process ID. I grab process ID. Okay, so they are not saying that it is the process ID. Okay, journal CTL minus R is reverse. Okay, that is one good option, that reverse time order. Okay, so from this particular thing it is doing. Then they are saying journal CTL. This command used to be there. Underscore PID equal to 1, like that they are asking us to. Okay, but that is very difficult, right? For a newer, for a fresher. Even for me, it is a bit awkward. Okay, let us do if there is a process ID. Journal CTL. Okay. Journal CTL man. Journal CTL by process ID. It is there. Okay, they are saying this one. If one or the output is filtered, a match field equal to example. How do we know where all this system D underscore unit? key priority since until -f print specified. No, that systemd underscore unit is not. See, how will I know that there are which fields are there? And this guy is doing -u is there. Systemd unit file. See, this is show live display from Apache service that we have understood. See, if somebody wants this one, they will only go with the examples here. Otherwise, there are no fields here. This is too much, right? He's asking that like, okay, from Avahi daemon this thing and plus dbus. We want from the process ID of this thing. Okay, now if you want PID, and otherwise we are also saying systemd unit. So here we are saying journal CTL underscore systemd unit equal to sshd dot service, right? So this is there. So here we have the sshd dot service, which is equal to this particular thing, okay, PAM file. So that's all we have. Now, so okay, now persistent. Now this journal are kept in run log journal, which means are cleared when the system is reboot. What happens is for journal, it's a different thing. Okay. So here, if we look at it, ls run log journal. Okay. Here we have these things, the entries, but they will disappear when the system is reboot. So we have to configure the etc systemd and then journald.conf, and here there are so many options, but one which will be persistence. Storage. So storage parameter is what actually tells this thing. So here let us do that. So here they are saying persistent violating auto. So man, they are saying man page, right? Okay, if I don't remember how to do it, if I don't remember how to do it, okay, if I don't remember how to do it, okay, then you will be able to go to man journald.conf, these files. So we have varlog journal systemd hyphen journald. Okay. So there is journald stores log, which is then persistent. Okay. So this is persistent volatile. Okay. So they are saying storage parameter is the one that is important. Storage. So storage option. ఇక్కడ లేనే లేదమ్మా auto, persistent auto. So here we have etc systemd journald.conf, and then here we will have storage as simply equal to persistent. Okay, persistent, persistent. So now we are saying that it is persistent. Okay, auto means none. What does it mean? Persistent, volatile, auto, or none, which persists across reboots. Does not the system creates it. Stores journal. Volatile means they are saying that it will store in run log journal. Auto, otherwise it uses. Auto means you have to manually create the var log journal. But if you put persistent, they are saying that, so if you look at, see, it's not there. But if I now restart it, it creates it. Okay, systemctl restart journal. System D journal day. Sorry, system. It's called system D journal day. Bash computer is okay. Maybe I'll just have to exit and yeah. Now you have to exit out and see. Now you will get everything. Okay. System D. Okay. System D hyphen journal D. Okay. So now we have this and then var log journal. Okay. So now you see that directory has been created and it is there. Previously, I knew about persistent, but I didn't know the difference between volatile and auto. Volatile means it will only create, it will only put it in LL run log journal, I think. Okay, run log journal. So that is simply equal to run log, and then that is simply equal to this one. And then there is var log and then journal. Okay. So there is a system D journal D. Otherwise it uses wallet. None means there won't be any storage. Okay. So now these are minus B, which is enter second boot. Okay. They are saying that how many times the system is booted. You can do it with minus B1. And if there is second boot, we didn't boot it for the second time. Okay, so we have only booted for the first time. If we were booted with the second time, then it will tell this thing. I don't know when that will be useful. Retrieves limited to the boot, current system reboot. Then we have got it and then we have finished it. Okay. Now, there is also one more thing, that is logrotate.conf. I think it is vim etc log rotate.conf. So here, if we look at it, this log rotate is how many weeks of worth it will keep it. That means it will keep writing to one log file. After 1 month, it will timestamp it and it will create one this thing. And every week it will do it. And after 4 weeks, it will automatically delete it. Okay. Create means you can create a new log file whenever it is whenever a log is rotated. What is log rotate? I'll tell you. Date extension, and then you read everything from this particular thing. You can override a particular log file with this particular directive. For example, these are the directives that are applicable to all log rotation files that are in var log directory. But here we are saying var log wtmp. Okay, rotate them monthly, create them with a timestamp of this particular thing, root and utim. Minimum size it should be there, and rotate once. So that is simply equal to this particular thing. Okay. So next is reboot, and then we will have var log journal. Okay. So that is it. Did you get it? Hello? Yeah. So etc log rotate dot conf. Okay. Then we have etc login dot dep. Login dot deps. What does this have? Var spool email. Okay, this we have already gone through the previous one. That is the user add and group add on a local system. Okay, so far we have covered two main logging systems. One is rsyslogd daemon, which was the older one, but which is still preferred by me and most people because it's much simpler. The newer one is journal CTL. Okay, the main options for journal CTL are until, since, by which this one, by which system D unit, if you want, and by the PID. Okay, so underscore system. See, now it is coming. Okay, bash completer is tab, you get it. So system D unit equal to which one? See, all the services are also coming. Now it makes your life so much easier. Okay, so shd dot service. So thus you will be able to get journal CTL minus systemd unit is equal to sshd dot service. So this particular thing you will be able to get it into the this thing. Now if you go to the cloud init, you can find container d dot service. Yeah, nowadays it is automatically coming there. So here we will get something called as container d dot service. Yeah. So this is simply equal to this particular thing. Yeah. So this is bound to all the network cards, and then you should be able to see it. Okay. So by unit, from, when, by process ID. Okay. And boot messages, detail getting into first boot, second boot, probably a little bit too much. Depending on our requirements, we can do it. Now, main thing is configuration of that one, how to make it persistent. Most important property. There are hundreds, but most important property is volatile, auto, and this one. To that finishes the journal CTL part. The next one is the rsyslog. Rsyslog daemon, etc rsyslog.com, where you will log in the facility, and then you will also debug one info, etc. Those kind of messages. And with logger minus p you can interact and log the facilities that are required to this particular thing. Okay, that's there to it. Next, time date CTL. Time date CTL. Now let us look at, before we understand time date CTL. See, Rakesh is living in one time zone. Okay, he's Rakesh. Is it Central Time Zone? Right? CST. Hello.
Yes, EST.
Now we are in BST. Okay, British Standard Time or GMT. Rishi, sorry, the other chap. Sidhu and Abhijit are in Indian time. That is, each one will have their time zone. Okay. Now in Unix, previously there used to be different command for TC select. There was something called as date command, everything. But now they have all been standardized into one centralized one for all Linux systems as time date CTL. Okay. So that is simply equal to time date CTL. Okay, so here if we look at it, it says that it is UTC. Okay, um, that is there. Okay, so we can do it this way, and we can also set time and date, and then we can also set NTP. Okay, now what is NTP? Is if the local machine gets time from its own, then there might be a difference. Now, NTP servers means network time protocol. That is, if you are able to get to the NTP time servers, right. So that is the that is there. Set NTP. That is the network time protocol. Chronicity sources. So time rate CTL set time zone. So how to interact with the Crony C this one is there is first of all to check if there is there Crony C sources where your machine is getting the time from. Crony C sources. Crony C sources. Crony C, okay, sources. Okay, see, it is saying that it is getting this time from this particular time server, ns1 lunch.net.uk, time.cloudflare.com, and some other time zone. Now, how do we actually get those time zone? etc crony.conf. So here, if you look at it, these are where the Crony servers are configured. Okay. Now we can go to the publicly available Crony servers to synchronize time. Why it is important? Because if there is one server running on one machine, and then there is another service running on the another machine, then it will be a problem. You understand, right? So now what we need is Crony C sources minus V, right? So output unexpected NTP server, right? So here we are saying here is we can get a list of NTP servers, okay? List of NTP servers, weirdo. List of top public NTP server. Time dot okay, list of NTP servers UK region, we can add it. Okay, so here I can add this particular NTP servers. Okay, and it's a pool, means there are multiple servers, or let's try to add one of them here. So we will simplify our Crony to actually get that particular this thing. So what we will do is we'll just add one more server here, okay, that is simply equal to this particular thing, okay, and then we'll try to comment out the ones that have been there before, that saying that this is our time servers, okay. So this is the thing, okay. So then you can just say systemctl restart Cronity. Okay, and now you can just do Crony sources. See, there is only one time server now that is there, and then this particular thing. When we do the next time Crony, we need to learn few of the important properties of the Crony, not many. But this is very important property. This is often a source of a problem, that the NTP servers, that the servers are mismatching with the time. That is because of the Crony. Okay, because of the Crony daemon. That's not particularly running true. So number of sources is simply equal to V. Crony C sources. tz select, okay, time zone select, and then that is simply if you want to say Americas or Asia. Now tz select is where you can select a time zone. Okay, either you can do tz select, display the appropriate time zone for Haiti. So first we need to know the time zone. First we need to identify the time zone, and further the command is tz select. Now I am in Europe, so I will just say 8. Okay, and if I look at where am I with the tz select, I'll have to be in UK, United Kingdom. Where is the United Kingdom? Where is
Savant.
7? Britain. Okay, they're calling it as 7. Okay. All right. So Britain time is this one, and therefore TC is Europe London will be used. So we need this one. Okay. Is above information okay? Yes. Yeah, 1444. That seems to be right. Okay. Yes. 1 for yes. Okay. So they are saying 1. Okay. Can use the bin tz select in shell script. Okay, so basically what we are doing is what is our time zone running in. So let's see. So if you look at it, it is local time and it is off by 13:45. That is because my time zone is not set to this thing. Okay, and then it says it is NTP enabled and it is synchronized with NTP clock. Okay, that is a network time. But time date CTL is something that you need to tell what it is there. So set time zone. Set time zone will give us the correct thing, Europe, London. Okay. Now we get back to time date CTL. See, now it has changed to the British Standard Time, which is 02 this thing. Previously it was UTC. Okay, that is UTC format, UTC this thing, but now it is GMT and BST. So DHT began, so that is simply equal to this thing from Jim's back. Okay, this is last DHT change, but right now the local time is 14:45. Universal time is the GMT time. Okay, we are 1 hour ahead of that one. When they call universal time, it is the time at the Greenwich this thing, but British time, even though we are Greenwich goes through us, we still are 1 hour ahead of that one, and the time zone is Europe/London. So that is one command, and another command is obviously the time, setting the time itself. To verify that one, chronicity sources, and then the other thing is time date CTL and set NTP. Whether we want NTP, we want the network time, or whether we want to pick our or on this particular thing, then it will be time date CTL set NTP true. Okay, so time date CTL. So then we should be able to get it as simply equal to this particular thing. Yeah. Time date CTL set NTP. So chronicity sources minus V. So set time zone, set time, chronicity sources minus V. Okay. So this is where we have this thing, time date CTL, time days, this thing. Next, log events. See, one of the useful command in Linux is date. But if I do a normal date, it is like this thing. And we have already learned date in basic Unix class. It has a formatter, okay, man date. So if I look at the formatter, that is most important thing, date plus, okay, date, display the string, not displayed by the string. Now we can get a date minus D, and then there are some useful functions that you can do directly in the command line, like minus 30 minutes. That is, see what was the date at this particular thing. And then the date format we have already learnt, that is simply equal to, because this date and time calculations are very important. I used to previously take it as this thing. See, if you want format, okay, century, day of the month, like hour plus percentage hour, like in this format, 0023 format you want. So then it will be date minus D plus percentage H. Okay, so that is 14, this thing. If you want it in the smaller hour, okay, April, okay, we need to read according to our requirements and then compose that particular thing. So that is what they are saying, journal CTL, okay. In the configuration files, create the etc or log, Okay, now what they are saying is they have given a final lab, but includes the guided exercise. They are saying, what is happening? Where is the final labs one? Okay, let's do some tasks. Lab, lab we have already finished. No? Analyzing and storing logs. So we learn the preserving the system. See, they are reboot. Okay, finish. Command is select, set time, set NTP. Whether you want NTP or this one, we have already gone through. We have gone through the TC select. Chronicity sources. Where are the labs gone? I really don't understand what these guys are. Yeah, RH199. There's a final lab. They didn't give a final lab. The way to do this book is finally lab. Okay, here they are asking us. Open an SSH, we don't have that. Pretend that server B has been relocated to Jamaica and you must update the time zone appropriately. Okay, to update the time zone. Display the log events recorded in the previous 30 minutes on server B. Create etc auth errors configured to have rsyslogd write messages to authentication and security issues to auth errors. And alert priority, use the auth private facility and alert priority. So we can have multiple. We can have multiple listings. Now here what Node located to Jamaica, you must update, use to elevate, to man sign. So what will you do? First, we have to get the time zone for Jamaica. Okay, so TZ, what is that? Americas. Okay, 2. And go to Jamaica. Where is Jamaica? 30. So here we have 30 and then we will have America/Jamaica. Is the above configuration correct? Yeah. Okay, next time, date, CTL, set time zone. Okay, and then that is simply equal to Jamaica, America, and then there is Jamaica here, right? So next is we got the time.ctl. Let's verify it. Okay, time. Every command you will have to verify it. Time.ctl, this thing. Okay. So here we have. Uh, okay, now it is also America, Jamaica, time.ctl. Okay, and then it is also saying what is the universal time it is giving. Local time means what is local time? So is it 8:53 now in Jamaica?
Yeah, local time is the time in Jamaica right now.
Okay, that is Eastern Standard Time, right? It is following the EST. Okay, and now of course it's so that is that so this is the Eastern Standard Time that is there, and it is saying that this is there. What is Universal Time? I know Universal Time is the time in which it is there. What is RTC time mean? I don't know what RTC time is. Time zone is America slash Jamaica. NTP enabled అయిపోయింది. NTP synchronized is simply equal to this, and then we should be able to get it here. Right. Next is display the log events recorded in the past 30 minutes on server B. So let's try it. So what is saying journal CTL minus minus. Okay, let's do this. Date minus D minus 30 minutes like this. It will do it. Okay. So if we do this particular thing, journal CTL minus minus since failed to pass. Why? Because okay, so then minus 30 minutes journal CTL. Okay, date was there in a particular. Okay, I'll keep this in a separate. This thing. No, I don't need this. Man journal. Uh, okay, minus minus since. So what they are saying is do like this. Okay, so but our date we can format it, but okay. So now if I do date minus D minus 30 minutes, so we have this here. 9th April. So this is day 04. This is simply equal to 09. And then we should simply copy this. I take XY. Yeah. But there won't be any entries because we have simply changed the Jamaican time. Yeah. Oh, it is coming some entries, but it is wrong. Okay, but let us verify if they did. At least it's 8:27. But it is showing as 7:20. Even though I said 8:27. Today is 9th April only, right? Yeah. It's not. It's not actually 04, 09. Oh, 2012. Sorry, 2022. Yeah. Yeah. So that is giving us the correct one. It is giving the logs that are beginning at 828. Okay. So logs began at this particular thing, but we are getting the log entries from here. So that solves our problem. Next, create author is configured to have, but here they are saying auth prive. rsyslogd authentication. Okay, use the auth prive facility. So previously, how we'll do it is the best way is to get the example from there. Okay, on exam we should just go rsyslogd configuration, and then if you look at the auth prive entry, so that is simply equal to user, then that is simply equal to var log secure, right? So that is simply equal to this thing. If you look at it here, type dot start, and then that is simply equal to var log secure. We have it here. Now, what they want, when etc r syslog, right? Okay, that is simply equal to this thing, and then we should be able to get it as auth prive var log secure. So here we will have to just look at this particular thing, and auth prive dot, what did he say? Alert priority. Alert priority we are going to give it. Okay, but we will not be able to test it. And then he's asking them to go to var log auth hyphen errors. Okay. So what is the quickest way to test this? Is basically we take this as a priority. We can create some problems in the authorization, but since we have not been taught, you guys have not been taught, the quickest way to use is this thing. But first is daemon reload. Daemon reload is not required. Restart our syslog service. Okay. Display all. No, I don't want you to display. I just want you to start it. Okay. So logger minus p auth prive dot critical auth prive and alert priority. Auth prive dot alert. Just see if it is there. Alert message. Alert message. Okay. So this is there, and now we should copy ll etc logs not etc var logs auth errors. See, it is there, auth errors, and all that we have to do is cat see Centos, and then we have got it as an alert message. Very important, this particular knowledge. All right, so that's there. Now We have the varlog authors, and then we have this as this thing. So what else is there? Okay. So we have learned a lot in this logging because we have also covered the chrony daemon, and we have also covered this thing. What did they do? Time date, CTL, pipe grade, Jamaica, set time zone, America. Okay, list time zones. Okay, TZ. Instead of that, we can also use this command. It's better to do it as a script. Time date, CTL, list time zone. Okay, time zone, Jamaica. Okay, so we could have done it with this particular command, time date CTL list time zones, and this is better because this is a scriptable solution where the no input commands prefer that one. Okay, and then we should be able to get it as set time zone, and then that is simply equal to America slash Jamaica. Number of the date minus D 30 minutes. We got that, and then right until this. Okay, we don't need until because if I do, oh yeah, until is also, yeah, previous 30 minutes means we are supposed to be there, but we don't need until. Create the log, this thing, what we did is auth5.alert, restart, and that's how they have tested it, okay, and then tail it. And so that is it. Okay, so list time zones is this particular command. Okay, so this is very, very important because logs are very, very critical. If something is going wrong, you need to know how to explore it. So the journal CTL minus U command is very, very vital. Because if you know that journal CTL minus U command, you can sort it by a particular unit. You understand, right? Yeah. Okay, so that is what we have done. System logging architecture, we have seen varlog, both journald, which is done by systemd journald, and rsyslogd. Okay, systemd is at the heart of the operating this thing. By default is stored on a file system that does not. rsyslogd uh, receives messages and it also has its own services. Okay, and then it goes to R this thing. And varlog messages, varlog secure, varlog mail log, varlog cron. For any Unix admin, these paths should be memorized, even though you know that it is there in the rsyslogd.conf. Yeah. Then what we did is all the messages, emergency, alert, critical, error, warning. Okay, this seems to be slightly different. Debug, info, warn, error is usually what they do. They are putting it as emergency, alert, critical, by heart all these things. Okay, warning, info, and debug, that you need to by heart it. And snap in file, etc rsyslog, etc rsyslog.d directory. Okay, and you can add it here, but don't make a change here. Put it in this one. Then the log file rotation, etc logrotate.conf. Okay, here we know how to analyze it. This is the date from where this particular thing has come, and this particular thing varlog secure. Okay, the timestamp and this particular thing tail minus f, tail minus 10f. Messages manually is logger minus p. Okay, so that is simply equal to the R syslog facility. Okay, so then we should say debug.conf to redirect priority to this particular thing. Okay, this is just practice. Practice them, okay, and note down all the commands. Time date CTL is one unified command to set the NTP servers, to list the time zones, and to set the time zones. But we also need to synchronize hardware clock. Let's stick with the syllabus here right now. If it is not given here, I won't tell. But after this book is completed, there are very, very important things that have been missed. It will take about 2 or 3 days to finish. One is the SSH configuration, they have completely missed. NTP configuration, they have covered it. They haven't covered the NTP. They have just given a query to actually like do this thing. But in the exam, they are asking how to configure an NTP server. Okay, you are not installing an NTP server, mind you. You are just configuring an NTP server, right? Priority minus minus since with systemd unit with this particular thing. Okay, since until PIDs and the processes are the most common things. Remember that many things. Okay, minus you can combine all of them together too. That will actually get you into that particular thing. Okay, and see that grep. That's why these command lines are useful to you. Whenever we don't have it, you can always fall back on the sed awk and grep, which are actually persistent, auto, and volatile. Okay, three main configurations for the logging. Maintaining accurate time. Maintaining accurate time with NTP servers, with time date CTL, and setting the time zones, either with list time zones. Better run, even though there are multiple ways to do these things. As a beginner, concentrate on the commands that are given in this book. Okay. Except for the formatting. This formatting, don't use parted, you will get screwed. Okay, as a beginner, use fdisk. Okay, so that is cronid and then chronic sources, and then that is simply equal to -v. PZ select, we have done time date CTL, we have finished chroni.conf. Okay, we know how to configure an NTP server. I mean, we are not installing NT server. We are just installing cron server. We have learned about the cronid service. We need to, anytime a configuration file changes, you need to restart the cronid daemon. Okay, you need to restart cronid. Okay, Sidhu and Rakesh, because new joiners, any questions that you have, please ask me now. Sidhu, can you do this now? Hello?
Hello.
Because this is an independent one. Okay, anybody who, though it doesn't require you to know the knowledge of, you will do that, right? Huh? Hello? You understood logging facilities, system journal, and this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So what are the two main logging facilities in Linux then? Come on, tell me. Rakesh, tell me, what are the two main logging facilities?
Log message and secure.
No, that's what. The logging facilities are always governed by daemon processes. rsyslogd and systemd-journald are the main processes. Okay, systemd, journald, and another one is the systemd-journald, and other one is rsyslogd. Understood, Sidhu? Hello? 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 Understood,
Yeah,
right? What are the main process? What are the main processes? This is their main daemon process. rsyslogd and systemd-journald. Got it, right? Okay. Where is the log configuration stored? Anybody in the class for rsyslog? Default location?
@rsyslogd. .com.
Yeah. See, rsyslog.conf. See, it is easy to remember. Most of the configuration files, most of them, not all of them, most of them are named after the daemon name. rsyslogd, if you remember, it will be in, and always it will be in the /etc directory. So that will be /etc rsyslog.conf. Now, that is the main configuration file. Apart from it, you can also have a snap-in directory. Instead of modifying the configuration file, you can put them in rsyslogd. That is a good practice nowadays, is put it in the snap-in file. You understand, no? Hello? Yeah. So that is the snap-in file. That is the etc rsyslogd. Got it, no? Okay. Now, what are the main commands for journaling daemon? How do you do that? Journaling daemon. Sidhu, tell me, journaling daemon, which is the main command? Time date CTL. Okay. Main control one is time date CTL. Okay, that is there. With time date CTL, you can do four things. One, you can set your time zone. Means, what is time zone? What is time zone, Sidhu? Tell me what is time zone. Which time zone are you in?
Kolkata.
Yes, like that. Kolkata, India is the time zone. Okay. And the time zone, list time zones command will give you all possible time zones. You have to search by the country and then you will get the time zone. You will have to set the time zone with command time.ctl set hyphen time zone. You can set the time with set hyphen time. Okay. Next, you can ask that instead of actually picking up the time from your local machine, you can synchronize your time with NTP servers. Why NTP servers? Because they are like atomic clocks. They are very, very accurate clocks. Okay. So with NTP, you will get things. So you'll have to do three things with time date CTL. You should know how to set the time zone, you should know how to set the time, and you should know how to set the this thing. Okay. Apart from it, logs are rotated. Means this log when it becomes big. Okay, this is very important. Log rotation, var log. So when the logs are there, it will be rotated. So for example, mail log minus the. Okay, then that is simply equal to this thing. So that is simply equal to mail log. Tail minus 10f var log mail log. So so that is simply equal to var log mail log. So this is simply equal to the this thing. You can tail the log messages there. Okay. So then you should be able to get var log mail log, and then you should be able to get the m.log and cloud init.log. So all the log messages are here. In the rsyslogd configuration, you will see four main things: var log messages by default, var log secure, var log cron, and then var log boot.log. Why these four are important? Cron we will learn in the next chapter. Messages means all the default things will appear in messages. Any authentication on authorization, it will be this thing. But it doesn't matter. You will have to know that auth prive, that is the thing that is there. Okay. Now, even though this book doesn't tell you, I will tell you that rsyslog and this one, they keep writing messages to each other. Very important for you to remember that. And it is possible to configure a centralized logging server. Okay. It is actually possible to configure the centralized logging server. It's possible to configure a centralized logging server that will actually be able to get to the get to different these things, and then get all the logs from all machines. Suppose if you have 10 machines in your network, they can all send everything to one centralized log server. Okay, so that you just remember it. Later we will also do that. Okay, setting up centralized logging server. That is part of the Linux RHC that used to be part of the Red Hat Certified Engineers, uh, curriculum, but now they have removed that from even there. Okay, in RHC now they are doing concentrating more on servers, which is okay. Okay, they have combined RHCA and the server configurations into one thing, and they are calling it as RH358. RHCE now they are saying that it's all Ansible. That's all an engineer should do, which I don't. I mean, what will a person know if he doesn't know what a server configuration stands for? Okay, so we will learn three main servers and one database server. Okay, three main servers are and one caching server we will learn. Okay, because the same things we will be doing it in the cloud. But we can start our cloud journey because by the time we come to actual caching servers in the cloud, we would have completed this, and we will see how to do the same thing in CloudFront in AWS, and we will also do this thing. Only thing is Squid Proxy we didn't cover. We'll cover it this time, Squid Proxy. Okay. But you can't do anything until you complete this thing, because any server process that you learn will you need to have the skills from all this 19 chapters, all these 16 chapters. That is why it is called as Red Hat Certified Admin. Okay, now let's get into this thing. Now we don't have time for advanced features, so let's get into scheduling the future tasks. Okay, because this is quite simple, we will cover this. So for Rakesh, the only thing that will be left for you is 12th and 14th and 15th. Okay, 16th is a big exercise. Now scheduling future tasks. Suppose there are two ways to schedule future tasks in Linux systems. There are several ways, but this is there. Okay, there is something called as anacron. Okay, and cron daemon is there, but now with the latest Red Hat systems, there is also a systemd timer. People who are old-fashioned, even me, will always use cron and cron.daily. Let us see that managing temporary files. So let's do it with the systemd also, because this is a Red Hat 8. Okay. All right. So what do we do here? Okay. Then let us first learn this. This is very. The thing is, if you understand this cron daemon, even for me, I always find it confusing. But that's a very common interview question. Okay, and you also need to know. It's not just interview question. You need to know cron dap. Okay. Now, luckily for us, we don't have to either go on Google, or there is something called as what is cron time means. Suppose if I want to schedule a job to be run at 11:30 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That is, we want to schedule some activity to happen on a machine. That activity could be a simple command, or it could be a script that you have written. Okay. So for that, we will do what is simply called as the cron tab. Okay. Let us see the cron tab. Here, forget this for now, ignore this for now. See here, the first one is the minute. See how it is saying 0 to 59 means hour and the day of the month, month, and then the day of the week. Okay, so here and then as which user you have to go and the command to be executed. Okay, now there is slight confusion with the day of the month and the day of the week. Means you are saying that on every Sunday, on every Monday, or every Tuesday, or you will be able to do it here. Okay, that is simply equal to this thing. Cron minute is simply equal to this thing, and so the day of the month is 1 to 31. Uh, so that is simply equal to the month of the day 1 to 12, and then that is simply equal to 0 to 6. So for example, they want to here they would like you to see example of the job definition. They are saying, okay, minute, hour, day of the month, month, day of the week. Okay, username, and then the etc cron tab. Okay, username and the command to be executed. Okay, so either we can do it this way, or if we want something, we'll see examples on how to do it. If you want some job to run daily, okay, so if you look at it, cron dot daily. So you just drop your command, you just drop your script here in cron dot daily, it will run every day. If you want to run it hourly, okay, that is simply equal to hourly. And then it is simply called as the cron dot weekly. And then, or you can drop it every week. Okay. So that is simply equal to this thing. Okay. So, okay. So here we have the etc cron tag, and then we have the etc cron dot daily, and etc cron dot hourly, etc cron dot weekly. Okay. So we have hourly, we have weekly, we have daily, and we have monthly. So these are the four things that we will have to remember. In these directories, we'll be able to do it. Okay. Now, then don't modify that it. Now, where this thing is configured, it is in the anacron. Okay, anacron tab. But don't modify this. Okay, create your own cron job. Okay, see here it is saying um, cron.daily. Okay, that is anacron. Okay, job identifier. You just have to drop the configuration file there. Okay, then you should be able to get into this thing. Okay, cron.monthly, period in days. I don't know, this interface seems to be this thing. The time that runs, or the job runs on this field. Period in days is 1, period in days is 1, monthly, delay in minutes. Amount of time should wait before starting this job. And here, start hours are here, but we are not specifying the start hours. So if we say daily when it will run, so here they are saying 3 to 22 hours. Wait until the next day for execution. So the job should have been run at least once. It will automatically pick up if the job has been run or not. Okay, it will make a note. That's what they are saying. Okay, but they are not saying how to put the cron daemon. Well, let's do even I am. Sources. Okay, this is, they are not teaching the standard normal cron, they are doing something else. See, from say Red Hat 8 onwards, they want you to do everything using system daemon. So this is something new for me to wait. User count, okay. Okay, right. Yeah. Managing temporary files. I think I'll have to do this. We'll just stop it here. We'll just stop the class here. I think it is better if I do this once because when we learned it with the cron job. These guys are asking us to do with the system daemon. Okay, so we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, we'll just do the system daemon. Cron job, I'll teach you because even though this book is not teaching, everybody is still using cron jobs. Okay, so we'll do that later. And then they are doing some temp file. See, nowadays everybody wants you to do everything with system daemon. All the older things they would like you to do with system daemon, even clearing up the temporary files, Red Hat 8 upgrade. And that's what they want to do. Let's leave it for now because I would still like to teach the older way because that is what is happening even in our this thing. Okay. Okay. And then there is NFS mount, and then there is a firewall. Firewall, I think, should be fairly simple for those who have come, but it will be too much. But Sidhu, you know, you have done how much AWS have you done on your own? Tell me.
EC2 creation of instances and VPC and S3 bucket.
Wait.
And
VPC you have done, right? You have done VPC. That means
creation of VPC and the format, sir.
uh-huh.
Creation of VPC.
The VPC you can create. I mean,
Yeah.
apart from VPC, you have also done security groups.
Security group only the it is HTTPS and then 3 groups are
Yeah, but
only.
you understand what a security group is, right?
Yeah,
Because
sir.
Venkat is already DevOps engineer. I am seeing what is your background, so you will understand the firewall concept. Whereas Rakesh has already some knowledge about network. Okay, he has more knowledge about network from the Linux system. Okay, those who are doing VPC will have some knowledge of network, even though they don't fully understand it. They understand network, right? But unfortunately, yeah. Okay, so what happens is in Linux, just like in the security groups in AWS, for Rakesh, what we need is there is a command called as firewall D. Okay, firewall in Unix. Okay. Um, yum provides / firewall cmd. Okay. Yes, right. Predefined service. Okay. Now I'm just seeing that they're doing it the service level only, right? Okay. Get default zones, set default zones, get zones, add source. Well, let's stop either otherwise today because then it will be this thing. They have covered little bit. Let me do this myself too, because we did Red Hat 7 on Red Hat 8. They seems to have changed it little bit, but yeah. For so Rakesh, when is the next class you can attend? Tuesday only, right? You are not attending tomorrow's class, no?
No, not
Hello?
tomorrow.
Not
Not
tomorrow. Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay, then Venkat, we will do Kubernetes tomorrow because Rakesh won't be there. This time we'll do better Kubernetes. We will do I mean, we'll cover the traditional ones quickly, the deployments, pods, and services. We'll focus more on the networking part. That is like CS, whatever is there in the Kubernetes networking part, because that was something that we were struggling, and authentication and authorization. Okay, role-based access control. And then we will see if we can do Prometheus and Grafana installation. After we do those things, how easy it is to become that. We will do that tomorrow. Okay. For us, it is a second round. But Kubernetes, I would say that we didn't even do the first round properly, but we will do the second round tomorrow properly, because right now Kubernetes is very, very important. Okay. Sidhu, you just focus on today's class.
Okay.
Don't try to do anything practical because it's difficult for you. Rakesh, you have to do the practical. Sidhu, you keep doing whatever Rakesh has asked you to do for the basic
Yes.
Linux.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't stop. The cloud course that you are doing, you do. Okay. But after you complete what Rakesh has said, you just do it. Okay.
Okay.
Because even when you attend my class or Rakesh class, I don't know who will teach you. Either me or Rakesh will teach you. By that time, if you already have some background, it will be more. See, these skills come practice. Okay, you need to have frequent practice.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, so Venkat, we will just continue on Kubernetes admin. Whatever is part of the CKA course, we'll do it. Okay. Let's see how much we can do. We'll start off with pods. We'll go with services. We'll start with persistent volume claims. then, then the networking, the core DNS of the Kubernetes, and writing firewall rules in Kubernetes using ingress. Same thing. They also have the network policies. So these networking concepts will keep repeating, whether you do Docker, whether you do Kubernetes, whether you do AWS, it is all the same. Okay, those concepts will not change. The TCP technology has changed. Okay, networking has not changed. From cloud, now it is containers. Now there will be something, but the TCP IP hasn't changed. It hasn't changed since 1990s. It has not changed. Believe me. Okay, DNS servers have not changed. DHCP has not changed. NTP that we are learning has not changed. The technology has changed. Okay, but the foundations, this thing hasn't changed. The TCP IP networking has never changed. Understand, no? Okay. So, all right. So, when will you meet Rakesh? Next Monday we'll meet. Well, when Venkat will have the tomorrow's class same. If possible, come with the Kubernetes installed. EKS. Don't install the normal one, because with the normal one we can't do load balancers. Okay. With normal this thing, if you do load balancers with normal, it's very difficult. We can, but it's very, very difficult. Let us just focus on it and focus on just like syllabus that is given in the CKA, Certified Kubernetes Admin. Okay, because if somebody can do that, then we can go with this thing. How did your Jenkins work? Jenkins job work? Were you able to get it to work, Venkat? That included shared libraries.
No, I haven't.
Shared libraries. Okay, you try it. Uh, because Jenkins, there is no book at all. That's why I collected all the notes myself. Now we can write our own book actually, to be honest, because nobody is going Jenkins in a step by step. They are simply saying do steps, do this, do that, and everything is all hunky dory there. Okay, so and so that is the right. Okay, so that is there. Okay, yeah. Um, next is this thing. What else? Right, yeah. Okay. Next to yeah, అది అయిపోయింది. Okay, yeah, we'll meet tomorrow then, Venkat. Okay. Sidhu, you keep practicing. Anybody has any doubts on anything? Ask me. Anything. If you have any doubts or any clarifications, anything, we'll sort it out. Because Rakesh will also be soon joining us. He's coming up to speed now. next from and Sidhu, of course, is just beginning, but he will also be there. Sidhu might be, it will take 2 or 3 months before he can join full-blown Terraform coding, because Venkat and Abhijit, they are all senior this thing. We practice more, what do you call, either new things like Kubernetes, which is this thing, and we'll practice more of live project work. Okay, not the basic foundations. But Rakesh, you can't do that now. You just have to attend the core course. But after learning myself and after teaching Venkat, now I also know which books one has to follow. If somebody were to come today, I will tell him definite books that one has to follow. One has that book that I gave you, right, Sidhu, that basic book. Okay, that Linux fundamentals. First, you do that. RHSCA, you do it. And RH358, don't do whole thing. Just do Nginx, just do HA proxy, and just do Apache. Okay, it will be good if you do SQL Server also. These four only you do. Okay, that's it. Then you proceed to cloud. It will be fast. VPC will be fast. Subnet and VPC, AWS in a month of launches. Containers, Docker in a month of launches. Kubernetes, there are several books. CKA book, official guide, any official guide you follow. Okay, for core skills. Then there are several books for practicing a lot of stuff. Terraform. Previously, we used to follow this Terraform up and running, but now there is a very good book called Learn Terraform the Hard Way. Okay, which is quite good because they don't actually teach Terraform using VPC or using these things, complicated things. That learning Terraform the hard way, I think Rakesh, I'll start teaching you, because you don't have to learn VPC and everything. But Terraform as a language, that book is good. There is no book like that. Okay, you don't have to know VPC, you don't have to know AWS or any cloud or anything. You just focus on language only. Okay, Terraform as a language, and that is actually one book, good book. I'll start introducing Terraform. Sidhu, you also attend those classes. I think wait, Sidhu can wait. Sidhu, you just complete that. How many chapters have you completed so far, Rakesh? Teaching to Sidhu?
We are almost finished with navigating the file system. Right before shell expansion.
Shell expansion is finished or no?
No, we're gonna start shell expansion.
Okay, you're going to start the shell expansion. Okay,
Right
then.
before.
Those things are very important. You see it, right? Everywhere you go, that shell expansion, grep, pipe, sort, sed, awk, tr, and t. These 8 commands, the primary 8 commands, will keep hitting you. And writing pipeline, pipe operator, because when you go and learn Kubernetes, any book that you pick, they'll write a shell script. And they'll write some shell command. If you don't understand that fundamentals properly, there won't be any progress in your journey. You understand, right, Sidhu? Hello? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, then we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, na? Yeah, cheers. Bye.
Okay, sir.
Okay, bye. Yeah.